I don't like.
Can you, one of you guys, put in there that?
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day.
It stopped. It says we're going. It says we're live.
Of course we're live.
Yeah, but I didn't do my intro.
Okay.
This is our show.
But your eyes are flying saucers from another planet. Now I'm all for you like Janet. Can this be a real thing? Can I?
Testes, 1, 2, 3. Testes, 1, 2, 3.
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
That's bullshit.
Hello. It really is a shit show. I couldn't get anything to work. I had to reboot. So sorry about that. How are you guys doing tonight? How's Bruce and Ruben?
Can you dump it all out in here or what?
You can do that, whatever. We're going through the unboxing of the figurines. The wife discovered there's like three boxes.
Bags inside a bag.
She's like curious.
She hadn't seen your collection yet?
She hadn't gone into the new stuff yet.
Oh, okay.
It makes my fucking nerves so bad that I don't come in here.
Well, maybe there'll be something big enough she might want to paint it.
That's the idea. Hi,
Yeah,
Grumpy
I
Old
think that's
Lincoln
how I need
and Cracking Gamer. Hello, Ruben. Hello, Janet.
How are you, Ruben? How are you doing?
I am highly caffeinated. I'm playing. No, I'm okay. It's been a very long week, but a good week. Finally, I was able to sleep more. I
don't know.
Hello? I'm hiding here. Hello? Oh, hello. Can you see me? I'm hiding now. Hello, baby girl.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to show some of the people that are in
I
here.
did not realize how Ruben would be if he was high on cocaine. I mean, coffee. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm trying to show everybody that's here. Hey, hi everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully we won't disappoint you too much.
No, it's not.
Bruce, wow, you've been writing a lot in here.
Oh my God. Up and down.
Oh, hi, Crafting Gamer. Thank you for stopping in. Hope you're doing okay.
I swear I'm not high.
Okay, well, I was figured tonight
Not yet, that is.
there's a lot of good things and bad things that's been coming out. Stuff that's going to make us laugh and stuff that's going to you're going to say, fuck you, whatever. But hopefully nobody's got kids watching this show because I always say it's not for kids.
Oh, shame on you if you have children watching this show.
Yeah, never watch a shit
Here
show.
you let your kids watch me.
It's past their bedtime anyway.
I mean, I'd rather you have your kids watch me than that Jeffrey Marsh creepy fuck, but I mean, you know.
Yeah. But I always thought I would open with this funny guy from Portland. And he works at Home Depot, and he's going to give you a tour of his store and recommend different items for you. So I thought you guys would get a kick out of him. I think he's hilarious.
Plywood here, as you can see, we're almost completely sold out of it because a lot of small business owners have to purchase this when their businesses get vandalized. These sticks right here, very popular for Portland protests. Homeless people will, by law, be camping on your front yard. And homeless people prefer yards that are well kept. When you steal a car, come right here to the key section. Every criminal is going to want one of these here. These earplugs here are very popular among Portland residents, perfect for anyone that doesn't want to hear banging, drilling, or the truth. This caution tape right here is actually very important because the police in the area have actually run out of crime tape. Let's say you're going through the front door of a small business. You go like this. This one is going to be one of our most popular for sale, obviously. If you're looking for a brick to throw through the window of a small business, that's going to be in Home and Gardening in aisle 4. This hose right here is actually perfect, and a lot of criminals use these to siphon gas out of people's cars. This propane is perfect for cooking. You can go potatoes, hot dogs, obviously fentanyl, gaps and cracks. This is perfect for any Portland residents' political ideology. So you want to go under like this and really have a firm grip right on the top. This door right here is actually one of our top selling doors. It's very easy to get through, as you can see. We call it the Joe Biden immigration policy. If you're looking for spray paint for vandalism, aisle 9.
I think he's adorable. Have you guys not seen that before?
No, first time.
It was the first.
Yeah.
I was
So
8 years old when I
It
saw
was
that.
my first time, and it wasn't good.
I think he's funny as heck, and I hope he gets a million views on his little video that he made because he deserves it. Everything he said, I agreed with. I'd shop at his store, especially if he was offering items for me to buy.
Really?
Even though I'm a long ways from Oregon. But I couldn't help myself. I just thought that was so funny. So the next thing I was gonna bring up, let's make sure this is the right one. It's this one. No, darn it, here I go again. Brenda, I think this is it. Yeah, here it is. Here's another video that came across my timeline, to laugh a little bit before we start digging into the real politics and stuff. So I wanted to share this so you guys can see it, right?
Assembly required.
Here we go.
You want to know what the hell's happening right now? Fine, I'll spell it out for you. It's 2025, and instead of Grandpa Bedpan drooling on the nuclear codes, you got Donald fucking Trump back behind the Resolute desk, pen in one hand, tariffs in the other, and he's raising fucking hell. The border's locked down, reinforced with laser wire and tanks, cartel scouts getting lit up like Christmas trees, ICE is back. You're paying $2 a gallon because we're flooding the market with American oil while those climate cultists cry in their oat milk. People can finally afford to buy eggs again. No proxy wars, no blank checks for Nazi cokeheads. Putin checked, Xi checked. NATO, free rides over, pay up or shut up. At home, job surging, factories humming, middle class making a comeback like it's 1955. This ain't the Trump you remember. This is Trump 2.0, and he's running out of fucks to give. 100 days in, and the deep state's already shitting bricks. They stole it in 2020, but we got it back. So now we're playing for keeps. Trump's back in charge, and America's getting rebuilt, with or without you.
USA, USA. Just kidding.
I am a little worried about Trump right now, though.
Why?
What?
Why?
Okay, well, what was the main thing that he sold to us veterans whenever he was going in? He said, we're not going to do
You want to know
any
what the
wars.
hell's happening right now?
Sorry, I was trying to turn it off. Go ahead.
We're not doing any new wars. But
Mhm.
then the Houthis kept up with their shit, and they kept attacking merchant vessels that were
Yeah.
going through the Red Sea, I believe. Some crappy part of the Mediterranean. It's the north side is good, the south side is bad. It's like most cities. Anyway, you have these Houthis that are backed by Iran that they keep on throwing off these basically improvised sparklers at ships that are highly flammable, and it causes a real problem. And the biggest issue that I have is that Trump is throwing real $1 million hardware at killing people that aren't worth a half pack of smokes. Like we're gearing up to have another fucking war with brown people, and I really okay, we don't need to be shedding billions of dollars per minute just to blow up some people that hate Western civilization. All we have to do is just let Israel take care of this shit. Sit back, don't even fuck with it. Let the Mediterranean, and it'll fix itself, I hope.
Well, maybe
Better
it will.
probably point.
I haven't heard him say anything about wanting to go over there and get to war.
how much money have we shed? I mean, we threw A-10s over the crappy Yemen. That's really, I mean, between that and some other things that have been going on against the Houthis, there's a real dollar amount that's going on war-wise that I'm really not comfortable with spending. These people aren't worth a fucking pack of smokes. I don't
Well,
like that.
hopefully that's not going to happen. Hopefully you're worried about something that isn't going to happen. I really do hope that, because I do not believe that Trump is going to make those
We've
steps.
lost $36 million so far, Janet, because 2 fucking F-18s weren't chalked properly on the Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier.
Well, that was people. That wasn't Trump.
And I know that could have happened anywhere in the world, but they were there attacking the people of Yemen that are harboring these miserable Houthi bastards, and we lost $36 million off 2 fucking F-18s that rolled off the deck.
Yeah, it happens. But we've saved trillions of dollars already just from what Doge has been doing.
I understand that. I would like to see more money be saved.
Me too. And we just have to be patient, though. It's only been 100 and something days. And
That's plenty of time for us to tie ropes and start hanging communists. What the fuck?
Yeah, but we can't. We can't do it.
We can.
But we're not
on this right now. Pay me $5.
If we just round people up and put them in prison, that's no different than what
prison. I'm not paying for prison. I'm paying for a goddamn rope.
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying is, if we do the same thing as they did to us,
I'd rather be a fascist than a faggot.
We're no better. We're no better than them. Just like I said, when I didn't get the shot, and they were telling me that I was killing people, and they went to put me in a camp, and that I shouldn't get medical treatment or any of this stuff because I was killing people. Even though I never got sick, I never had COVID. I've been tested one time, but I didn't let them stick it up my nose. I made them take my blood, and I was negative. I didn't have COVID. So the thing is that I still don't believe that I would round people up and put them in camps because they're jacked up.
Cost too much money.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not going to let them make me do something as horrible as what they do to people, because I am not them, and what they've done is
pretty fucking easy. It takes 5 minutes. See, not the news. That's it.
Well, I understand. When the trials are over, hopefully Trump will hire you to be the man in the gallows that wears the black hood and takes care of them.
I can save you trillions of fucking dollars. We'll be closing prisons left and right. Are you a serial rapist? You're done. You're fucking out.
Yeah, and we'll need people to do it, and you'll be the one that maybe they'll call. But this was something that I shared earlier in the week that I saw, and Bruce liked it. So I was going to play this for Bruce and then let Bruce be the first one to talk about it after we're done.
Talk about it. I've already seen it, but yeah, I'll be happy to talk about it again.
Okay, well, here we go. Because you said you wanted to use this tonight, so I'm going to play this. Here we go.
Have you ever wondered why we go to war? Or why you never seem to be able to get out of debt? Why there is poverty, division, and crime? What if I told you there was a reason for it all? What if I told you it was done on purpose? What if I told you that those who were corrupting the world, poisoning our food, and igniting conflict were themselves about to be permanently eradicated from the earth? You might think that an idealistic fantasy. Well, let me tell you a story. We acknowledge there are criminals, of course. They rob your house, they steal your phone. They can murder you too if they think they can get away with it. We have all experienced criminals in one way or another. Criminals, as we know, are those who choose personal gain over the rights of others and have no regard for the law. But here is where you need to expand your... Criminals can also succeed in business and politics and can be elected as our leaders. If a criminal became the president, imagine what they could achieve. They could use the full weight of their executive power to commit much larger crimes and ensure they and their friends were enriched to the fullest extent possible. A criminal president could create alliances with other criminal presidents and then collaborate on more global criminal activities. Anything goes. Drug running, human trafficking, whatever makes the big bucks. The 20th century was turbulent with war, economic disaster, famines, and displacement. We have always accepted these things as just human nature, and simply the way the world works. Something inevitable, and due to the weaknesses of human nature that drive us to these actions. This is where we were all tragically wrong. You are not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. So how can we just assume that it is human nature that is driving all this pain and misery? What if it wasn't human nature at all, and as a result of something more deliberate? We were taught that capitalism was the cause of a massive rich-poor divide and the reason for poverty, which in turn is the reason for war, crime, and starvation. Others were taught that communism, the system of equal wealth across all people, was really to blame for the mess. But you see, folks, it is none of these things. It is not our nature to fight and be racist. It is not in our nature to rob from others. What you must learn is that it was the criminals all along. Yes, they got power. More power than a criminal should ever have. They rose to the top of media companies that control our news and entertainment. They ascended to the top of the banking system, also to the Oval Office, to Brussels, to the Vatican, to the Crown. They crept in quietly. They became leaders of agricultural companies who had control over our food supply. Also big pharmaceutical companies, the ones we trust to help us when we're sick. Nobody stopped them, and they just recruited more criminals to help them. First, they accumulated the world's wealth. They invented a system of money called central banking, which lends money to governments with interest, placing countries into eternal debt. People's wealth got less. Their wealth got more. Much more. When a criminal is already as rich as they can get, then protecting their ill-gotten gains becomes a priority. Angry citizens tired of being poor are a major obstacle and can revolt if they suffer enough. The criminals needed to prevent this. So they diverted attention to the last remaining competitor, the people of the world. You and me. We were not happy being ruled by criminals and having to work 3 jobs just to survive. They know we won't accept it. So they use their control of the media to set black against white, woman against man, young against old, Muslim against Christian. They convinced us we were the problem so that we would fight and destroy ourselves. To get it done faster, they attacked all aspects of humanity that make us strong. Like family, using their influence over culture, they popularized lifestyle choices that led to a surge in broken homes, lost youth, and substance abuse. I could talk all day about how else they deliberately weakened us, and it would turn your stomach. We were just trying to get on with living. So where are all the good guys? Good people just want to get married, have kids, make a living, and enjoy their liberty. Well, there were good guys, many. One became the President of the United States in January 1961. He knew about these criminals and wanted them gone. He knew their intentions for us all, and he wanted to fight them. Sadly, he had no idea how powerful they had become. Reagan also had good intentions for the American people. He knew this criminal mafia controlled almost everything by the stage, including the powerful rogue intelligence agencies. His economic policies were promising, but the criminals needed a weak America to hold on to their power. Reagan was shown with a bullet that a growing U.S. economy and prosperous citizens were not what the criminals wanted. It was looking pretty grim for good people. Every time someone wanted to stand up and do the right thing, they got stopped. Were we ever to be freed? These criminals are also known as the Deep State, or Cabal, because of how they control things behind the scenes. Every president after Reagan was one of these deep state criminals, and their empire got even stronger. With each bad president came new depths America and the world would sink. The world collapsed into darkness. Do you need me to tell you how? Destroyed factories, declining job numbers, sicker people, opioids, destruction of Iraq, Syria, and Yemen with pointless war, displacement of people into Europe, ISIS, terrorism, collapsed governments, poverty, and genocide. Total misery. Do you think that was inevitable? Hell no. Well, here is where things start to take a new turn. When the full picture comes to be known, it will forever be regarded as the greatest story ever told. Well, here is the top line. Some good people still held positions of power. They valued humanity and the rule of law. While the criminals discussed their game plan at the annual Bilderberg meetings, the good guys were making plans of their own. The information age was coming to change history forever. As the internet flooded into every home and appliances became smarter, and when people started carrying tracking devices, an opportunity to put an end to criminal control over the world was emerging. We became connected, trackable, and surveilled. But so did they. They became dependent, just like we did, on email, SMS, instant communication. It made crime much easier, but it also put them on a grid that, if accessed by the right people, would expose their crimes to the public and end their iron grip on us once and for all. In this new age of information, it was thought that the military should also have its own intelligence agency to focus on cybercrime and espionage. They called this the NSA, the National Security Agency. Here we had every phone call, email, and text from every device stored and archived, whether it be someone making a doctor's appointment or the deep state setting up a massive heroin purchase from the Taliban. In the right hands, it would be enough information to expose the entire sinister criminal plot to rob us blind and wipe us out. Hold that thought. Now I need to explain the plan. The good guys were devising a plan to reclaim the world from the cabal and return it to the people. It would involve alliances with multiple countries, since the criminals had global rat lines, trade, and other infrastructure in place that would need their cooperation. It came down to two choices for America: launch a military coup to seize the government from whichever cabal puppet was in the White House at the time, or win legitimately, take control of the NSA, expose the criminals for what they are, and arrest them all. Obviously, the first option would be very troubling for the public. With people still preoccupied with cabal-engineered social issues, they would likely revolt and hurt themselves and others. No, it would have to be the latter. So they needed a candidate who could win, and who could win big. Many states like California had been so heavily inundated by criminals that even the voting machines were electronically set up to swing votes any which way. It would need to be a very decisive victory. Good patriots in the U.S. military and their global partners asked Trump to run for president so they could take back control of America legitimately without alarming the public. Trump was a good choice, obviously, because he overcame the voter fraud and won. But he was a patriot, and he was loved and admired by the public. He was not interested in joining the cabal because they hated America, and he did not agree with them on that point. As soon as he showed interest in taking power, they activated their media assets to viciously turn on him. That's when we saw the sudden hatred emerge. Even when he won, the cabal still had no idea what he was a part of, and the sophisticated plan that was about to unfold against them. Shocked at their loss, they mobilized their full arsenal of intelligence, media, money, and technology to try and take back power. Their people at the top of the DOJ and FBI then put together a plan to frame Trump and have him impeached. This is where we come back to the NSA again. All messages were stored and could be used to expose this plot and prevent Trump's overthrow. An entire book will be written about the first 2 years of Trump's presidency: false flag terror attacks, downed planes, missile alerts, assassination attempts. Here's the point. The world is currently experiencing a dramatic covert war of biblical proportions. Literally the fight for Earth, between the forces of good and evil. I can't put it in simpler terms, but I can say it appears the good guys are winning. The cabal had complete control over North Korea. They hijacked the Kim dynasty, took them hostage, and worked to build up a nuclear arsenal that threatened the world. Kim Jong-un suddenly embracing peace was simply because the deep state were beaten and driven out. ISIS was also destroyed in the year following Trump's win. We are all starting to see the pattern now, that enough time has passed, that our biggest global concerns are starting to recede, and peace is returning. It is all evidence that the good guys are winning the war. But we're still in the middle. While a lot is improving, it still puzzles many that most of these known criminals are still free, especially the higher-ups like Hillary Clinton, the Bushes, and Obama. That is coming in the next chapter of the story. That's why we have Q. The good guys with control over the NSA began the Q intelligence dissemination program to invoke an online grassroots movement that came to be called the Great Awakening. It started on underground internet channels and then moved to the mainstream. Q has been a fun distraction for those who follow world events and desire truth, but it is about to begin a much more important and necessary phase, keeping the public informed when the deep state war breaks out onto the surface. By this, I mean high-profile arrests. Yes, folks, the criminals I'm referring to are famous politicians, actors, singers, CEOs, and celebrities. People who have earned our trust, respect, and admiration. They have done very bad things that are all fully known and documented, and they will be severely punished. Those of us who have followed Q since the beginning will be here to help you make sense of the coming events. We are among the first to realize that our petty partisan divisions are just trivial distractions, and we are all enslaved by a hidden enemy. We realized that the problem was never capitalism or socialism, Democrat or Republican, black or white, Muslim or Christian. We know it was just very
They put
powerful
Kanye out
criminals
there.
who had too much power. Fellow slaves, it's time to buckle your seatbelt, recognize your true enemy, and embrace a new future that we all owe to the brave patriots who risked their lives to achieve this victory against the greatest force of evil the world has ever known. May God bless America.
Okay, I wanted to play this for one thing, and I shared the link in the chat. I never followed Q. Okay, I was never in it because I always thought that it looked like a trap to me. That
Yeah,
maybe
honeypot.
the left was using it to get people like me that want to see those people all go to prison, things like that,
Right.
to do something that they can entrap me with. So I just never clicked on anything that said Q. But I saw little snippets here and there of this on like TikTok and on Instagram and other things. And I went, wow, some of the things they were saying is 100%, I believe. Every single thing that they were saying, the way it unfolded, the way things are happening, they left a few things out, but I agreed with everything. So does that mean I'm a Q person, or does that mean that I believe that the people like Hillary Clinton and Soros and people like that want the new world order basically are the ones that are trying to destroy our countries from within, and not just our country, because I believe it's happening to Canada. I believe it's happening in Europe. I believe it's happening all over the world, basically. So I played this because a few times I've heard Bruce make some comments that he didn't think that things were happening fast enough, and a few others. I've heard Papa Cotton and a few others talking about it. And I said, we've got to be patient. We've waited all this time to finally get Trump in there, and they didn't get away with killing him. So he's in there. So we've got to be patient. I know it's hard because I didn't even think we'd be here. Remember last year, I figured it was over. I was just about ready to give up, thinking that I need to pack my stuff and get my dual citizenship and go live in a cubby hole somewhere in Newfoundland. That's what I thought I was going to have to do. But it didn't happen that way. They tried to kill him, and he lived for whatever reason. And I believe it was a miracle. Honestly, I really do believe that, because I do believe in God, and I do believe Jesus died for me and everyone else, whether they wanted him to or not. But I do believe that, okay? And I'm a faithful person. But I do believe that Trump is supposed to be doing what he's doing. And we have to be patient and let him and his people, hopefully with our support, by fighting in our states and in our towns, to get us to the finish line. We got to get rid of the corrupt judges. We got to get rid of all the other corruption that we find, and corrupt police officers, corrupt everybody, try to weed all these people out. And the only way to do that is by making sure we have good judges in our cities, in our towns, in our states, and that we ourselves don't go off half-cocked and make a dumb mistake to where we're in jail. You can't do much to help your community or your family or your state if you're in jail, right? And if you did something 100% because you were pissed off, Well, that's what we want for them. I want to see them punished because they broke the law. Not just because I'm mad at them. I want them to be punished, but I want it to be legal. I want it to stick. I don't want to go off half-cocked and they get off because some dum-dum tried to kill them or steal from them or kidnap them,
This is the joy of the noose. The noose is quick. 5 minutes, you make the loop, you get it up and over, you get them fitted, and then it's done and over. When a lawyer comes running up 15 minutes later with a stack of papers, hold on, stop the execution. I have evidence that proves my client. The communists is there limp. We just throw them in the dump truck.
Yeah,
no big deal.
I understand what you're saying, and a lot of people feel the same way. But I'm not going to do it the way they do it. I want to do it the way Trump has got it set up to do it, and that's to catch them with evidence.
I like the Bruce method a lot better. Never advocate for somebody else's method over your own.
Well, so I want you to go ahead and tell me what you thought of that whole video and whether or not you think that any of that stuff was lies or.
I think it was big enough to where we all can see the value of it. Because it goes against the entire thing where, we're not fighting against lefties or righties. We're fighting against just the thoughts and provinces and principalities that have governed man for aeons. And the thing is that you can either become part of the mainstream talking points, which have prevailed for centuries, or you can try to reverse centuries of idiocy and wandering down the path of self-destruction.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to always have wars. We're going to always have the elites trying to kite you, me, the common man, into getting in some war somewhere else that'll depopulate us and depopulate another place overseas because we're really good at killing motherfuckers overseas. We're the best at it. There's nobody better. And that's just, what it is to be an American. You every 10 years, you have an opportunity to go check your manhood and go load up a rifle and go blow the shit out of some brown people. Yeah. Right now, the card came up for Houthis, and I really don't want that. I don't want to have that happen. I'd rather the Middle East unfuck itself, and maybe we have to go with Andrew Klavan's idea of just let Israel run the Middle East, and it'll be a celebration for all. Now that would never happen. But I would still rather have that happen than what we currently have, where you have 17 different sects of Islam trying to vie for the top spot. And they're trying to kill Israel. But the moment they kill Israel, they're still going to turn on each other because you're not Muslim enough.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, remember when all of those people came in and killed a bunch of people, kidnapped a bunch of people, right? Everyone said that we were going to go to war then. That we were going to end up going into their war, but we didn't. Okay. Israel took care of things. They listened. They were the calmer side, they stepped back for a little bit. And then when they started bringing in the bodies, and doing the autopsies and stuff like that, and they were getting it out, people were realizing how devastating it really was. People were seeing it and listening and absorbing the information, and what we thought might happen didn't. Okay. They finally got all the people back, and they still haven't gone to war yet. So we just have to have faith that the people that are in charge on all sides will try to do what's right for their people. You know what I mean? So that more people aren't going to be killed, So we'll have to, I'm trying to be, I don't know. I'm just trying to think about not doing anything or pushing any buttons to make it worse, because it's pretty bad already. We just need to, take a deep breath and try to take it a little bit slower and absorb the information. And hopefully we won't make the same mistakes as other people have. You know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see. But I thought it was really good, because I put that in the chat, and hopefully everybody will watch it, because if you watch it 4 or 5 times, it there's more and more of it. You seem to absorb and understand and say, damn, we really, every single thing that they were talking about, it's like one after the other after the other. And it wasn't you and I, because you got a black family and you got a Hispanic family and a white family all living in the exact same neighborhood, all about the same range of income, all equal when it comes to that. And your houses aren't any better than the other. You know, you're living right next to each other. Your kids are friends. But the whole time we're living there, other people outside of our little neighborhood are trying to make us hate each other because of our skin color. Right. So, and it wasn't the people in the neighborhood. It was the people outside of that trying to get you to say that person's a racist or that person's going to rob from you because of their skin color, things like that. And we're looking at each other like, what the hell are they talking about? You know, we started to wise up and pay attention and realizing that's bullshit. I've known this person. These are my friends. And they would never do that. I don't care what color what they look like. You know, I remember years ago when I got a census and I was looking through it and it said, you know, how many people in your household? They're asking all those different questions, but it asked my race. And I just wrote, I made a little note on there and said, what difference does it make what race I am? Because when you do a census, you need to know how many kids they have, how old they are, and if you have elderly and things like that. Why? Because they want to make sure they have enough schools and other things like that. They don't need to know what race you are to be able to build a school. Stuff like that to me is ridiculous. And that right there is one of the reasons why I think the government has too much.
In 2010, I had a very interesting discussion about the census with a census taker outside my apartment in Deer Creek, Illinois.
Yeah.
Lovely apartment. She was not able to answer my questions. Why is all of your questions geared towards figuring out how many Mexicans I have living, or how many Central or South Americans I have living in my apartment in a non-border state of Illinois? Yeah. And she's like, well, you know, we're finding out that there's a lot of people in this area that are of this nationality, that are of this propensity. There are a lot of them. I said, well, they're not in this apartment. And I don't even think they're in this city because I would hear them and you would too. She's like, oh, and I said, you would hear the music. You'd hear them, the music that they play, and you would hear them going, ay, 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 ay. Oh, God. You'd hear them stamping their feet, cha-chaing around, dancing with each other, and then you'd see the results in 2 years as all the women are pushing around baby strollers, and they would be multiplying crazily because that's what they did in Corpus Christi. And I know this because I live there, but this is Deer Creek, and we don't have that situation here. And she's like, you've never been to Centralia or to Beardstown. Now, I don't know about Centralia, but I know Beardstown and Middleton, Illinois, both have a huge set of meat processing plants that primarily only hire illegals. And I said, I don't care. That this is Deer Creek. We only speak one language here. It's dirty American. And we drink the shit out of the local bars, all three of them. So we don't need to worry about anybody else but Americans here. You need to, you know, if you want to have good conversations, you want to omit that. I hope I'm your test, you know, because I'm trying to fix you before you go to my neighbors who are really racist. And they sure as shit would. I mean, they had Confederate flags hanging up in the living room. They had Confederate flags hanging in the back of the truck. They still had a shotgun rack in their 1979 Ford F-150 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this lady was like out of her league in this place that was trying to be Hazard County, Illinois. And it was just funny. But the overall goal was to, you know, change the electorate. And when you have people that are, you know, not represented by being citizens, but they're still there, you can have more House seats, which is how a lot of states would prefer to change their electorate. If you're not going to do it the right way, we'll do it the illicit way.
Yeah. Well, Ruben, do you have anything you want to say about what we just watched?
Well, that video is interesting, and again with Q, I am very leery. I still think it's basically a psyop or some type of fifth generational, combination of everything. The thing is that there is
Ben Shapiro trying to get your money.
There is a
I don't know.
war.
I didn't get
There is a war for control. When the polling came out that Trump was going to win, and it was validated, I couldn't believe it. But the things were already going in place. They were already, the Republican ground game was very, very strong. Now, what's also going on is that you had to find out where the loyalties were, and they're doing it now, like with having the buyout, the Doge, what they're doing. We see the corruption's happening all over USAID and all that stuff. So there's a very high likelihood that the reason why everything is delayed right now is because they literally bleached everything at the moment that Trump won in November 5th. So from November 5th through January 20th, there was a lot of cleansing going on in all of the United States government going on. But then now Doge is trying to get it opened up and recover everything. And that takes time. When you have spy versus spy, military grade encryption, military grade, bleach bit the computers. Well, then there's the reverse of a bleach bit. So this is the ultimate test. There are things going on that we have no idea. And again, the whole Israeli conflict that happened in October 7th, but now what we have with India and Pakistan is more treacherous than what's going on with the Houthis. The Houthis is basically, I don't care. Just, unfortunately, the best bullets we have are expensive, $18 million a pop, whatever. Do it. Just get it done. End this crap. Because again, the way that Trump works is, if you remember back when he was first elected, he basically stood up to the North Koreans, and they backed down. He was he had a presence. He basically said he'd do it. He'll do it. But if things were to go south in anywhere, it would be the Indian Pakistani, and that's devastating. And that's another psyop, because I still believe that.
Oddly
because
enough,
right
since
now
that popped off 4 days ago, I have not received a scam call.
What? Since they blew that place up, you haven't gotten a single scam call?
Ever since the
India
or the Indians and Pakistani are fighting on each other,
all the call centers are not calling us. They're
nobody's trying to ask me about an extended warranty. I don't get it.
Right, but there's two. Okay, so let me finish the story, and I'll tell you a funny story. So, so then basically, what's going on right now? I think that they want the conflict because they want someone to pop off, and they do it right in India. India is big in tech, AI. So inadvertently, they could want to take a ploy for taking control of AI and have it in America. Who knows? It's very, very weird. I'm getting a very bad headache right now. But the point, shit. There was another point I was in. There was a joke I was going to say. Now I completely forgot it. I'm getting a migraine or something. It's been very rough.
Turn
It's
the
been a rough
lights
week.
down in there. That might help. It helps me when I get a migraine.
Well, I gotta. Yeah, I know. But no. But what was it? Shit! It was a funny joke. Shit! I totally forgot it. Damn! It was something to do with. Oh wait. Nah, I don't remember. Oh, I know. I remember. Okay, this is very simple. It's an observation. So this is a real true story. So I went to on a holistic path of healing, and it's been working well for the last couple of years. But I had a guru. He was from India. Very oh, you must follow the path of peace, this and that, everything like this, and all that stuff, right? So then everybody in the group knew that he was a man of peace. But then I knew, of course, and Emperor can agree. And I told the group, you know what? I could tag this guy. I could trigger this guy with one word or one phrase. And basically I did, because basically we're all sitting there, and they basically said, you know what? You love everybody, and how about your Pakistani friends? How do you think about them? And the guy just went, fuck those Pakistani out of the blue. He just said, fuck those guys. Those pieces. And they went, what? Just, you guys don't even know. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
people's lack of knowledge of what's going on there right now. Because since 1947, again, you had the partitioning and you had the creation of Israel, 1947, very pivotal year, you know, and then also the bomb, everything was going on, the advancements, the Cold War, everything, all that was in place. So we have to be very, very careful what's going on there right now. That's where my concern is. And again, watch the stock market, everybody. Like they track what Nancy Pelosi's doing, track what these idiots are doing.
There's a new one out.
I shared an app the other day with everyone.
What's that app called, Janet?
I'd have to go get it. Something
Nancy
G
Pelosi
or
tracker or
something
something like that. I thought it was.
Well, it's on the App Store, and it lets you know. It gives you an alert whenever anyone from Congress or anybody like that buy stock, so that you could go and buy the same stock if you want. Yeah. So I thought that.
But again, I really think, again, this is more philosophical. We are in the divine comedy. It is a joke, and I realized something now. It hit me in 2020, right before 2017, when Trump was first on stage as president. Because I had no idea. I just knew him as a business guy, fun guy. Everyone. But I knew one thing about him: great in business, and everybody loved him. Those are the two things I knew about him. Great at business, and everybody loved him. Great at business. Of course, he went bankrupt just a couple times, but that's what you do. If you willing to gamble, you can risk it all. He did. He got it back, and in spades. That's what life's all about. It's taking risks. You got to admire someone who did that. And
he's an entrepreneur.
And again, the people say, "Oh, he's been married 3 times." The apple doesn't fall far from a tree. Look at Trump's children, how they are. That's what I say. So all this bullshit, like going back to your video here, again, it is. You don't know if it's true or not. Be alert. Be just the most important thing here. And Janet, this.
Talked about from the past. You didn't see that. You don't think that is how those things unfolded?
No, they did unfold that way. But again, be very leery.
That's what I'm saying about why I think a lot of that stuff is true. Is who's pushing it, not the whole thing about, just like I was saying, about Black people hating white people and Christians hating Muslims and all this different stuff. It's more of a push, just like what I think this whole thing was a psyop with the whole transgender thing. Because they thought, I really believe the people pushing that agenda thought you and I, as Christians or as Muslims or whatever our religion was, someone who had morals was going to go out and want to just start taking machine guns and getting rid of people in the streets.
No.
I think that's what they wanted.
No. That's not what no. What they wanted.
They wanted us to do.
What? No, they didn't want us to do anything. They want us to complain. They want us to do what we always do, saying, no, you can't do this. It's not right, which is the truth. They are in, it's not a conspiracy. It's a truth. The psychological people are working with the corporations. They're working with the doctors. Again, oh my God, how are we going to make more money? Okay, we can do surgeries then. They're doing things to people. They're mutilations, things like that, all the time, all over the world. Now they're saying, "Okay, let's experiment." We have a lot of Mengelas out there that don't give a shit. We'll change you. You're perfect. They'll just do it because they want the money. Yeah, they want to seek perfection, and they push it. They push it all the time. Vogue and all that stuff when Cosmopolitan back in the 60s, 70s, it was all photoshopped, and it made people crazy. And again, it's all about controlling a society and telling them that they have to be something, having them focus on something else, not here, distract them. Bread and circuses. That's why they pay actors so much, football players so much, celebrities. And I'm sick and tired of it. I re-got Apple TV because I had my iPhone again. I looked at it and it's very, They think they're hot shit. They really think their shit don't stink. All of them, and all these actors, and that they're special. No, you're not. No, done. That's why it's all about authenticity. It's all about authenticity.
Their heads are so big. I don't know how half of them get in the door.
Yeah, the whole Met Gala thing was a freak show.
Oh, I didn't
total
watch it.
freak show. No, I didn't see it. I only saw pictures because I was.
Yeah, me too. I had to suffer through some of those horrible pictures that they were posting on everything. It seemed like of everybody.
I'd rather go to a backyard barbecue with a person next door than have that shit. It's just done. And I want to basically, talk to somebody about how are you doing? How are your parents doing? What's going on in your life? I don't give a shit about any celebrity anymore. It's done. I never have.
Well, okay. Well, I think that we've hashed that out pretty good. I shared the link.
I mean, really, Ruben, don't you care about Katy Perry carrying a flower around and kissing the earth after they take her out of the carnival ride? Come on.
No.
But this next thing I thought was important that we should look at, if you hadn't seen it already, is a crowd attempting to stop an ICE raid. Have you guys seen this video?
Classic.
And
really?
This is in Massachusetts. Right. Yeah, it's in Massachusetts, and it's like, what is wrong with these people? Aren't they tired of spending their tax dollars on keeping these people here? See what I mean? I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous, but I wanted to play this video so everybody could see it.
I forgot my treat. My breakfast treat. Breakfast.
It's a woman they're trying to get, I guess, an illegal. Yeah. It's sad. They're fighting their own people that live there that are police officers. It's terrible. Why? How does striking out against the police in your own area from trying to arrest people that have broken the law help you? I mean, I can't make any sense of it. To me, it's like, I just don't, it's like it's not real. It's like we're living in another dimension or something. But that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to play that first because here we go. This is why people do that dumb shit, because they voted for people like these people right here that they're going to talk about in this. Eric,
what have you learned?
Yeah, Martha, that protests ongoing at that ICE center, as we have been seeing in Newark, New Jersey, involving those two members of Congress and the city's mayor taken into custody. The protest at Delaney Hall, it's a huge privately operated detention center. For weeks, it's been the target of demonstrations there. Reports from a DHS spokesman tells Fox News that the protesters were outside the facility, that when that gate opened, you can kind of see it there. The gate opened, a van went in. Then they say some of the protesters and two members of Congress stormed in right through the gate. Those representatives, as we have reported, Democratic Congressman Robert Menendez Jr., son of the former senator who was disgraced and convicted in a corruption case and resigned, and Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, both Democrats. In a statement, DHS is saying this, quote, "These members of Congress storming into a detention facility goes beyond bizarre political stunt and puts the safety of our law enforcement agents and the detainees at risk. Members of Congress are not above the law and cannot illegally break into detention facilities. Had these members requested a tour, we would have facilitated a tour of the facility. It is an ongoing situation." Martha, as you mentioned, Newark Mayor Ras Baraka has been trying to shut it down, saying the building doesn't have a permit to operate because it failed fire inspections. He is in custody, we're told, right now as part of this protest. Monday, here he is talking about his opposition to that center.
They have infringed upon the rights of residents of this city without taking them through any due process at all. So, yeah, we are afraid and opposed and alarmed by them setting up a detention center where they continuously violate people's rights and house them in a building that now they won't even allow us access to the building. So the transparency is completely gone.
We don't know the fate at the moment, whether he has actually been charged or will be charged or arrested or just taken into custody. Meanwhile, the DHS says the members of Congress were holed up when they ran through the gate, apparently, in a guard shack there. Then they did ask for that tour of the facility. We've been told that tour has now been granted. The facility you see there has been expanded to hold more than 1,000 detainees. ISIS said that it does have the valid permits and that the center can operate. Again, it is run by and funded, or run by at least, by a private corporation. It had been inactive at some point, and then it's been all part of the federal judge lawsuits over the
What is going
situation in ICE. But officials say it has the right to operate legally, and we'll see if those members of Congress are taking a tour or if they're going to be in the hot seat too.
Okay.
Martha?
Eric, thank you very much.
What
now,
of Jasmine Crockett having to grab her own cotton?
What's sad is about all of this is the fact that where were all the uproar from the Democrats when the January 6ers were put in with no due process at all, and they were American citizens. Then they're willing to lay down their life and jump in front of police officers and cars and when they have weapons and everything for illegal people that are taking our tax dollars from people that earned the money to be spent on them. It's disgusting. It does not make any sense. I just don't understand. I wish I could connect the dots and figure out what it is about all these illegals. Do you think they're trying to bring in all these Hispanics so that the Hispanics and the blacks will get into a war or something? I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm really wanting to know because they're willing to do this stupid stunt like they just did for this to stop them from taking these people. I mean, no, I know it's a diversion. I understand that because everything they do is some type of a diversion, but it just, all of this doesn't make any sense. It's total loony bin. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know where to place it. It's so bad. It just doesn't make any sense at all.
350 million people. All they need is one.
All they need is what?
One person to do something stupid.
Yeah, I know.
So they're running so many different psyops out there.
Because look how many people they've already caught trying to kill Trump.
Yeah.
One guy climbs up a tree at a golf course and sits there for hours and hours and hours to try to shoot him. You know.
Well, they all met at the BlackRock company meeting. Yeah,
I know. And then they wander around with a rifle and climb up the side of a building when the president's not even 150 yards away and nobody does shit. It's disgusting. It's all of this is disgusting. And where are the people that are going, what the hell? You know, I just don't see anybody, you know, hardly anyone at all making a stink, except for the few things that we bring up and stuff like that. And you guys share with me in the shit show chat, you know, things that we see or we read, but it's just like a tiny portion of the ginormous media, you know, that even takes the time out to share anything factual, you know. I don't know. To me, I don't know. I'm just getting to I'm not even sleeping sometimes because I go, why are they doing this? It just does not make sense.
Think about here's a very frightening thought. Like I told you, they want you to mutilate God's creation. They want you to change men to women, women to men. They want you to grape children.
It sounds a lot like Moloch worship.
Yeah, because if you cut off your genitals, okay, and if you want to be a woman and you cut your penis and your balls off, you can't procreate. Even if later on you change your mind, you're never going to be able to have children. And a woman that has her uterus removed, okay, because she wants to make a penis on herself. Well, later on, when she decides she wants to be a woman again, she can't have children. So to me, all that is a psyop to try to get people to not have babies. See? So it's all working hand in hand to stop life. you know.
Because that's what they want to do. They mutilate. They want to sacrifice because they're going to bring upon the end of days, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
So
it's
we
something
have
like
to be pure of heart and all that stuff. That's why, it's now about love. It's now about, peace. And again, that's why I'm saying this is a distraction. Don't fall for it. Fight hardly for it.
Mhm. Yeah, and try to keep sharing the truth out there.
Because again,
So when people see-
it's a simple act of defiance that is be like Martin Luther King. Because there's the whole Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Malcolm X was about violence, getting it done. Martin Luther King was about peace. The corollary is Jesus and Barabbas. What do you choose? Do you choose the passive violence or the passive love? What do you do? We're at that crossroads again, right here, right now.
Remember when I said that I played that video because I was trying to make it a point about Bezos using that and using some of the things that's going on to make it look like they're having turmoil with the people that made the commercial and all that stuff to try to bring more people to click and go to him and maybe want to fly or do these different things to try to stir up business for his company. Okay, I still believe that. And the one reason is that I didn't know for sure. I only knew little bits and pieces, but I found out a little bit more today about why I think it's going to get more chaotic when it comes to Bezos and his company is Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So I found out that Amazon has now sending back any packages that come to their warehouses or whatever from not them, but they were using UPS, okay, and the United States Postal Service to deliver lots of packages. Well, they're slowly pulling away their contracts from these people now. They're not going to let those companies deliver their stuff because I think they are going to start branching out to be delivery service themselves. They're going to start trying to deliver their own packages to your house. So I've been seeing more and more the vans, in like the big areas where you have the big Amazon warehouses, they have all the vans and they are doing the local deliveries. And I think they're trying to expand to start doing it. So I don't know. I just think this whole Katy Perry and this whole thing that they did is going to have something to do with this. I'm just trying to put two and two together from behind the scenes. So, you call and say, where's my package? I haven't received my package from Amazon. You call UPS. Well, it says that I'm supposed to, it's already delivered. Well, it was, but we had to send it back because we don't have a contract with them anymore. So they have to find another way to get it to you. So you'll see. I really, really think there's something big going on. I just don't know what it is, but I know it's something big. Oh, wait, let's see what Hardwicky's saying about it. Yeah, but I mean, not just a few for here and there. I'm talking about countrywide. Instead of UPS bringing it to your house, it's going to be Amazon bringing it directly to your house. It doesn't matter where you live anymore. Because I'm telling you right now, where I'm at right now, I have never seen one Amazon truck. But if I drive to Little Rock and I go to their warehouse, there's tons of them. And lots of them are starting to deliver farther and farther out. So, but UPS is not going to deliver it for them anymore, and neither is the post office. So who else is going to do the deliveries, especially the places, rural areas where people don't have that. So I'm just saying, I'm really expecting something's going to be happening here within a month or so. We're going to start seeing something. But this was interesting when I saw it. It says Iran has been caught red-handed. Fox News reveals satellite images exposing a secret Iranian nuclear site that has been operating for over a decade, reportedly producing tritium.
Tritium,
yeah. A key component used in nuclear weapons and not civilian energy. So I was like, what the? So I wanted to play this for everybody.
Fox News exclusive satellite images revealing the location of a previously unknown Iranian nuclear site. Now, the facility spans nearly 2,500 acres, and this is a big discovery. Jillian Turner has more from the State Department. Good morning, Jillian.
Pretty explosive, Dana. These satellite images that we have obtained exclusively show the alleged site location and even the layout of the secret, previously unknown nuclear weapons facilities inside Iran. This, of course, raises fresh concerns about the regime's role in these ongoing nuclear talks with the Trump administration. The National Council of Resistance of Iran has collected intelligence from sources on the ground inside Iran that locate this nuclear weapons facility in what is called Semnan province, far from the regime's already known nuclear sites. It's codenamed the Rainbow Site by Iran's officials, and it spans nearly 2,500 acres. It's been operating, as far as we can discern, for over a decade under the cover of a chemical production company that's called Diba Energy Siba. The so-called Rainbow Site's reportedly being used primarily to extract tritium. It is a material that's used to boost nuclear weapons with no real civil or commercial applications, putting paid to Iran's longstanding claim they just want nuclear power for peaceful purposes.
Isn't the U.S. position that Iran can have an enrichment program as long as it doesn't reach a weapons?
We haven't made that decision yet. We will, but we haven't made that decision yet.
Just yesterday, the vice president insisted that the nuclear negotiations with Iran are going swimmingly. Take a listen.
So, without prejudging the negotiations, I will say so far so good. We've been very happy by how the Iranians have responded to some of the points that we've made.
Dana, once again, so this intelligence, these aerial satellite photos, plus some video that little too long to share with you guys on the air, were shared exclusively with Fox News. It was obtained by sources operating on the ground inside Iran, given to us by Iran's opposition movement here inside the United States. Pretty explosive.
Yes. All right. Jillian Turner, thank you for that, and we will track it.
Wow. Well, what did you guys think about that?
You wanted the truth?
Yeah. I mean,
it's very convenient
that Obama and them are and Biden didn't know anything about it.
It's very convenient. That's all it is.
Yeah, it seems funny how a satellite looking down, they figured it out. Well, I'm telling you right now, remember we were all shocked when pallets of cash in the middle of the night were just delivered to Iran and stuff like that during the Obama administration. I'm telling you right now, I just have a gut feeling that both those administrations helped with a lot of this shit, and all of it with money from us.
Yeah.
Because that's why USAID and all these other things were all set up. It was a money laundering system to give them all this money so they could do shit and use dirty bombs against us, stuff like that. And who knows, they might be taking that stuff and putting in our pharmaceuticals or something. Yeah. We don't know. See, I don't know. It's just really funny how all of a sudden we have a new president and a satellite happens to see something that's been there for all those years. Yeah, I doubt it. They already knew about it. Maybe not some of the people that are in there right now under the new Trump administration. But I'm telling you right now, satellites have been around for a while.
Let us not forget the little fucking Iranian twat, Valerie Jarrett, that was part of the Obama administration.
Oh, that's right.
She vowed to give Iran every leg up she could during her time in DC. She's still part of the fucking shadow government.
Yeah.
She's still there.
Yeah.
But she's an evil little twat, and she's angry as hell, man. She hates patriarchy. She does not like Islam, but she will use anything of Sharia law to browbeat all of Western civilization. Because she knows that if she actually was living in a Sharia law state, she would be in chains, in a garbage bag, not able to talk, not able to exert any amount of power. But here, she can be a fucking authoritarian cunt. And I fucking can't wait for the day she's room temperature.
Tell me how much you love her.
I know, right?
I know. Jeez, damn.
It's a rough fast, but I can manage it.
Just kidding.
Okay. Next.
Okay, the next thing I wanted to bring up was something I thought was really funny. I really do love Scott LaBio. I don't know if you guys know who he is or remember him, but I've played quite a few of his rants on our show, and I want to play this one. I think it's funny because of the shit that's been going down in New York. So I just think it's hilarious, and I'm going to share it with you guys so you guys can watch this. This is great. So you guys recognize him, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, city council members, members of the press, and citizens of the great city of New York. My name is Scott LaBio. I am the acting interim mayor of the city of New York. As we know, Mayor Adams at the moment is incapacitated, which gives me the power as the interim acting mayor. He is under anesthesia at the moment at his gynecologist's office, getting his vagina waxed. So as acting mayor of the city, I hereby take emergency actions in regards to the out of control situation we are having at Columbia University. Using my temporary mayoral power nevertheless, I will be putting forth the following executive orders effective immediately to end these acts of war, not only by foreign students, but students right here in our own academia community. Executive order number 1. Remember, folks, these executive orders are effective immediately. Executive order number 1, anyone wearing any kind of mask at these Jew-hating America, death to America screaming protests, I give permission to all acting police personnel to rip these fucking masks off the heads of these pussy-ass misguided jagoffs so mommy and daddy can see the faces of the douchebags that they hatched. Executive order number 2, should anyone, and I mean any fucking one, of these punk-ass pussies even think about touching or spitting at a member of the greatest police force in the fucking universe, I give full support and permission for the NYPD to generously hand out wooden shampoos and handfuls of concussions. Executive order number 3, immediately upon the arrest of one of these violent or property-destroying terrorists, no revolving doors of justice this time. Send them directly to Rikers Island for 2 weeks. This will guarantee to scare the living fucking shit out of these paper straw-wristed wussies. Any property destroyed by these perps, all repairs of damages will be paid for by the pussy-ass parents that raised these douchebags. Executive order number 4. Any foreign student or protester here on a visa, that visa will be revoked and they will be immediately deported back to the camel shit-filled cave wherever the fuck they came from. Any U.S. citizen acting violently or destroying property, screaming death to Jews, death to America, will be sent on a taxpayer-funded, that's right, I'm going to even chip in, vacation to Gaza. And finally, executive order number 5. The self-hating, America-hating, Jew-hating administration and faculty at Columbia University have exactly 1 fucking week from this moment to take full control of these acts of terrorism, or this fucking school will be permanently shut the fuck down. And every one of faculty and administration's faces, names, and addresses will be plastered on billboards throughout this fucking city. These executive orders take place immediately. This war ends today. Now, are there any questions? I didn't fucking think so. Good day.
Okay, I'm going to copy the address for this. I'm going to share it in the chat for anyone who wants to share it with anyone else.
That is like Nick DiPaolo's version of Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I just
That
love him.
that was good.
He is so funny. I agree with everything. He uses the F word a lot and a lot of other cuss words, and he's very dramatic. But I think he's hilarious as hell. I just love him. I thought he was really good to play, like halfway in the show, kind of like break up the doom and gloom. I just think he was hilarious.
You don't want to hear me complain about Sharia law spreading in Texas? What?
Oh, I just thought it was funny. But hope you guys liked it because I thought it was funny. I shared the link in there, so anyone who wants to, share it out or whatever, you can. Okay, here is another one I thought it's a short little video, but I still think it's good. It's about Minnesota. So we haven't heard a lot of good stuff from Tampon Tim's state, have we?
Ever since fucking Obama opened up the doors to Somalia and let all the skinnies in, it's gone to shit.
Yeah, here we go. Listen to this.
This one's really fun. Did you know that the FBI recently declared Minnesota's 5th congressional district as the terrorist recruitment capital of our country? Who is it represented by? Omar. And it just so happens that when Obama imported 70,000 Somalian immigrants, they all stayed there. Can't make this stuff up. We are inviting them in to destroy our country. This one's really.
So it was funny because everything you say every so often is exactly what I'm about to play. You just said they invaded it, but the thing is, they were brought in. Remember, Obama brought a lot of people like that in, and they don't assimilate. They change their environment to fit their purposes. So if a person comes here and wants to become a citizen, they have to learn English and they have to assimilate into our culture. At least that's how it should be. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? I think that should be, we'd have to do it in another country. Just like I've said, I have my friend, the one I went and babysat the dogs for, her husband's from Norway, okay? And she has a daughter, which she gave birth to in America, but her grandparents are Norwegian. So they travel back and forth, and now her daughter can speak 3 languages. And she is a citizen of Norway because of her father and because she learned the languages. Tammy's been trying to learn the language for all the years they've been married, and she can't. She says it's really hard. I took classes, I've done all this, and I cannot speak well enough to pass the test. So other countries do it, but why are we the worst country in the world? Because we expect someone to learn to speak English. I don't know. I just think it's stupid. I mean, it's really stupid that we don't ask people to assimilate when they come to our country. I just think it's ridiculous. But yeah, here's another thing I thought was really good. I thought you guys would like this. Oh, it started already. Let me start it. Turn it up. Okay, make it bigger. Here we go. Thought you guys would get a kick out of this.
I think we've just about reached the point where we can declare this Republican-led Congress a failure, or at the very least, a failure so far. And if you've never seen my content before, this isn't some liberal coming after the Republicans. I have been one of the biggest advocates for Trump and the Republican Party for as long as this has been a platform. But while I support everything that Donald Trump has been doing since he was back in office, Congress hasn't done a fucking thing. Like, legitimately, they've accomplished nothing. Most recently, they quietly canceled the vote where they were supposed to actually make the changes Doge recommended. Yeah, they just decided not to vote on it, even though they don't need a single Democrat vote to make these changes, right? They have a majority in the House, a majority in the Senate. They can pass anything they want, but they haven't. In the first 100 days, they've gone on 2 breaks. And when they were in session, they did nothing but hold bullshit hearings that have accomplished nothing. They haven't codified a single thing that Donald Trump has done. They haven't passed no tax on tips. They haven't passed no tax on overtime. They haven't passed no tax on Social Security. They haven't codified anything Donald Trump did at the border. The only person working for the benefit of this country right now is Donald Trump. Oh, and I'm about running out of patience with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel because they promised all kinds of changes. In fact, on day one, Kash Patel said he was going to close down the J. Edgar Hoover building, make it as a monument to the deep state. And he was going to take all the FBI agents that were hanging out in Washington, he was going to send them out to field stations to actually do their job. None of that happened. Pam Bondi said she had the Epstein files on her desk ready to go, but she hasn't released those. But I'm going to give Kash Patel and Pam Bondi a little more time. They've only been in their position for like 2 months. But Congress, what the fuck? Do your jobs. Do what the American people elected you to do. Stop holding these bullshit hearings that accomplish nothing and stop going on break. How many fucking days off a year do you need?
See, there's lots of people out there that are finally voicing their opinion. Okay. He's right, though. All these executive orders and stuff that Trump has had to sign. Okay. Or he didn't have to sign, but he signed to like make the Gulf of America. Right. And then he also that the English is the language of America. All these different things that he's been doing. And he says he wants that big, beautiful bill to get passed, but he's right. We don't need any votes from the Democrats to pass something, yet they still haven't done anything. Remember how they went along when Trump was going to run the first time. Oh, you need to have us give us our jobs and we'll get rid of Obamacare. They never did anything. They don't do shit. Just like he's saying, they sit on their ass and act like they're doing something. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not passing anything and helping us and making some of the things that Trump's signing executive orders, laws, passing it so that someone can't just come in with an auto pen and undo everything. So you have to start fighting in your state and tell them, get off your freaking ass and do your job. That's what we put you in office for. Because if they don't do something, what do you think is going to happen in 2026 when it's election time again? Do you think we're going to get any more seats, or you think we're going to lose a few seats?
We're going to lose big.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. They're not supporting Trump. They're out there, I don't know, acting like big shots because Trump is doing so good and the people are happy with Trump. Right. But they're not doing anything to support Trump and support us, the ones that put him there. So we've got to start just tell them to get off their freaking ass and do their job, just like this guy did. That's one reason why I wanted to share it. And I also shared the link in the chat for everybody. So please, after you saw the video, go through the chat and you'll see the thing and copy it and share it, because the guy is saying what we all believe already. So here we go. I'm gonna go to the next thing. Here is a good one. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I don't know if anybody has seen this yet. He's talking about law and order is making a comeback, but the media won't like who's being held accountable. Have you guys seen this? So here we go.
Law and order is making a comeback, but the media won't like who's being held accountable. A dozen swanky DC restaurants just got iced, including Chef Jeff's. Who owns that? Well, that would be Nora O'Donnell's husband. Some of the other owners are getting a little nervous about the feds sniffing around.
It's very concerning. The employees are very scared. We're worried about some of them not coming back to work. And just a general panic amongst the people that it affects.
Trump's just doing what Biden wouldn't, keeping our country safe and stopping migrants from keeping wages low. An illegal who Trump booted in April, he was just arrested in Brazil for plotting to kill Lady Gaga and her fans at a concert in Rio de Janeiro. Stateside, Venezuelan gangbangers attacked cops in Times Square. Eric Adams wants Homan to toss them. They're not slowing down. Bondi says agents just made the biggest fentanyl bust in DEA history, which brought down dozens of Sinaloa cartel members.
They seized 3 million fentanyl pills in that raid, 49 firearms, and Almost $5 million in cash was seized as a result of this raid.
So they took over a fucking station wagon.
Sinaloa
Okay.
cartel members, worst of the worst, and Donald Trump took them off the streets and saved countless lives.
While Trump's team's cracking down on criminal illegals, Congress is hauling sanctuary state governors to the Capitol to testify. But before that happens, Kristi Noem's taking the fight to JB Back Ribs' home turf.
President Trump has been focused on making sure that we're going after the worst of the worst, going after those who are perpetuating violence against American citizens. And Governor Pritzker has created a sanctuary here for those criminals and invited them here with free health care, free housing, free assistance, and facilitated them being protected from being brought to justice. We need to return to law and order, and we need to put people first. Let's work together to protect the American people.
The feds just aren't focused on the border. The DOJ and FBI just arrested over 200 pedophiles.
These depraved human beings, if convicted, will face the maximum penalty in prison, some life. We will find you, we will arrest you, and we will charge you. If you are online targeting a child, you will not escape us.
If you harm our children, you will be given no sanctuary. There is no place we will not come to hunt you down. There is no place we will not look for you. And there is no cage we will not put you in should you do harm to our children.
The DOJ is working overtime to make sure these creeps face the music. Even death won't give you a free pass from justice. Bondi says the FBI is reviewing thousands of pieces of evidence related to the Epstein files.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume. And that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that.
Wow, it's sickening. The other day,
This was forced to be seen out because James O'Keefe put out some information yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, it's forced them to put some stuff out before they were ready to do it. But I watched a video the other day, and it was out of Florida, and it was that one cop, that a group of police that come out and show pictures of pedophiles and people they've arrested. I don't remember his name, but I tried to find it again to bring it for tonight, but I was like, I don't know where it was. I looked for it in the shit show chat, but he was showing, he didn't show pictures, but he was showing information, on big boards or whatever. They shut down the website because they had a website, and people were complaining and trying to get it shut down. Well, somebody in Florida was able to do that, the police and stuff in there in Florida. But they had stuff on there with children, small children, millions of pictures and videos of children with animals and people, animal bestiality shit with kids. Okay, this is what I've been trying to tell you guys. People don't want to hear when it's bad enough with people, right? But when you start hearing the real shit that's out there with children and what sick, perverted freaks want to see kids do, it's going to be more than a lot of people are going to handle. And the sad truth is a lot of people are going to go half-cocked and go out and start taking law into their own hands, and it's going to make it worse. It's going to make it worse.
Well, you have to understand something. In this report, it's very strategic. They covered two topics. They covered fentanyl and pedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to remember that. What they just did is the government and Fox News put out the warning. And you heard what Pash Patel said. If you're doing this, we'll find you. So what's going on here, he's basically telling all of the low-level fentanyl dealers and people who are considering to do child trafficking. And the low-level people are the ones that are just the couriers.
Yeah.
And in child trafficking, those are the ones that grab the kids, but they're doing it for somebody else. So what they're trying to do is they're going to start a dragnet for fentanyl and pedophilia. And they're going to try and reach out. People are going to start to turn or start doing. Instead, I'm saying this is what the whole point. And like I was saying, what's going on there with Pam Bondi is Yeah, they're going through all the videos, and they have to basically dot the I's, cross the T's, and then they're going to do something. That's what I think. I hope.
Yeah,
I
and
hope.
it's a shit ton of it. Just like she said, just the videos with just Epstein, thousands and thousands and thousands of them, of him with kids and with porn. Okay, videoing himself while he's whatever, entertaining himself by what he's viewing. It's disgusting. And the thing is, people that would do this stuff, just like what Trump said, what did he say? He wants to see him get the death penalty.
Right.
So I'm telling you, I'm all for that. I'll vote for it. I'll work the polls. I'll do whatever I have to get that law passed. But the thing is it's not just the people supplying the kids. We have to arrest and put these people away, give them the death penalty or whatever, the ones who purchase kids to do the things with the animals or whatever else it is that they have in mind for a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, boy or girl. Those people need to be put out, because if you don't have people that want to purchase kids, you don't have anybody to want to sell them, because nobody will buy them. So we've got to crack down on the people that are wanting these kids too. I mean, we really do. We've got to just get rid of them. I mean, like I agree with Bruce when it comes to this part, not the way Bruce was
Wood
just.
chippers are cheap.
We have to do it through the law. The letter.
Fire up, Chippy. Go out back and make sure you put the oil in the gas.
So you want me to present this thing that you have down here?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, here we go. I'm bringing it up for you. I just saw it. I'm sorry.
Now, this is 1000% on point. I completely agree. Shout out to her.
I moved over here from Brazil, and I'm pretty much Americanized by now, in case you can't tell. It's been over 25 years. I'm now a proud American citizen, and I've worked hard to adopt this country as my own and become a valuable part of this community. Let me introduce you to this word, which means to adopt something as one's own and become a part of it, which is what's supposed to be your job as an immigrant. So that means that I can come over here and introduce you to some cool stuff like Guaraná and Farofa, but I'm not supposed to be coming over here and be an invasive species. That's not the reason I came. I came here to be one of you. If I thought Brazil was so much better, I would have stayed there. Someone explain to me why I am expected to respect and abide by everyone else's customs, literally everywhere else in the world, everywhere else I go except here. Oh, but some people are fighting political persecution. Okay, well, if your land and your country and your culture and all that's so much better than we are, then you stay there and you figure it out and you fix it. That sounds like a you problem. Basically put, if you're not coming over here to assimilate like me, then you need to stay right where you are. Period. Full stop.
Now, this is 1000% on point. I completely agree.
All right.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
That
Who was that white man?
Our TED Talk.
Yeah,
That is,
but I
from
wish
Viva
they would
la
do that.
Resistance. Young girl's name is Viva la Resistance. That's her @ Go ahead and follow her if you follow TikTok or associated.
I'll follow her home.
What? I mean, I'm sure she got a donk on her. She said she's from Brazil.
No.
I mean, if you don't understand what I'm saying there, then you haven't watched my Saturday streams when it's time for the bio break, and I start showing these girls from other Southern American countries riding horses, and Connell's there, panting, heavy breathing furiously. I want to be a leather saddle when I die.
Yeah, but yeah, it's I wish more people felt that way. But see, if the news never shows like that woman saying what she said,
you have to see it on Janet's channel,
right? How does anybody see it? How does anybody know that people do want to assimilate? Because if no one sees it, they don't even know what's happening. So that's why it's important to share. If you find something, do it.
You've got a really good Dr. Claw. I've got to give you a congrats for this week, Ruben. You've got your Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget cartoons down.
I don't know.
I'll get you, Gadget.
Yeah, that one. That's good.
I don't know. I've heard that before, but I don't know what it references.
It's Dr. Claw.
I never saw the show.
He's the bad guy.
I'm not a child. I never saw G.I. Joe or anything like that. He-Man and all that crap.
Just snippets here and there. But I wanted to play this because all of this is connected, just like I said, with the drugs and the invasion over our border and the trafficking. That's all related. It all works hand in hand, and that's why I wanted to play this right here. So here we go. Let's get it opened. Make sure it's turned up and push play.
The entire purpose of Islam, according to all Islamic doctrine, is to ensure that there is an Islamic state throughout the entire world called a caliphate, and under that, Sharia or Islamic law is the law of the land. That's it. Islam is no more complicated than that. Islam breaks the entire world into two parts. The Dar al-Islam, where Sharia is the law of the land, and the Dar al-Harb, the house or abode of war, where there is not Sharia as the law of the land. The function of Islam is to eliminate the Dar al-Harb until the entire world is a Dar al-Islam. And the vehicle to do that is called what? Jihad, which in 100% of all published Islamic law is only defined as warfare against non-Muslims. So let's just put that on the line. And so we're here talking national security issues. We have people here that are running for the office of President of the United States, and we have to begin there. And what I would put forth is that since, and actually prior to, but since 9/11, our entire national security apparatus has been unprofessional in its approach to this war, from the four-star generals to the office of the president, to the national security staff, to the leaders of DHS when it was created, the FBI, the CIA, and other agencies. Because we have said this has nothing to do with Islam, despite the fact that our warfighting doctrine says when you analyze an enemy, you start with who he says he is and why he's fighting. And 100% of this enemy that we're facing, from the jihadi in Chattanooga to the 9/11 hijackers and everybody before and in between, have all said we're Muslims waging jihad in the cause of Allah in order to impose Islamic law and establish caliphate, period. So that's what it is. And if we look in Islamic law, authoritative Islamic law, the kind you get at mosque bookstores, not at Barnes and Noble, you will see that 100% of them say that jihad is warfare against non-Muslims. And it's total warfare. It's not just guns and bombs. It's psychological warfare. It is political warfare. It's subversion. It is the whole 9 yards. It's total warfare, something that our DOD has not been practicing. I would say you'd have to go back towards Reagan administration and maybe even beyond that. Complete and total war against non-Muslims.
Okay, there you go. So, because we've heard over and over again through Trump and some of his people about how they've tried to whitewash everything so that nobody could say, oh, they're Muslim, they just want to kill people or whatever, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, it's true. It's true. My father has told me about it many times, that it says right in their doctrine that if you're not a Muslim, you are an infidel, period. You are not worth, even saving if you're drowning or anything. They could care less. So you're useless. You're just a pimple on the butt of society or whatever, that's what my dad said. So you can't become or marry a Muslim unless you're Muslim, and you got to convert. So it's not a group of people that can come to our country and assimilate.
It's better to find them when they're hungry, offer them bacon, and do the conversion there.
Yeah. Sounds like Bruce. But the thing is, they're not going to assimilate. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to play that with this, because if people come here and they try to, it's just like they leave California, they come to Texas, and they want to turn Texas into California because they vote the same way they voted when they were there.
Problem is they get on the fucking voter rolls and they still vote Democrat when they're dead.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They don't assimilate. Just like with the young lady that you played a while ago, talking about when she came here, she came because she wanted freedom and she wanted the American lifestyle. If she liked where she was, she wouldn't have came. Okay. So people coming here need to become Americans and understand the history of America and want to be free and become an American. And then you'll fit right in. But they don't seem to want to do that. Okay, well, here's another one I thought. It goes along with the same thing. Oh, go ahead.
I should go to bed. I'm tired.
Oh, you about to go to bed?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, it's fine. Basically, I wanted to thank you all for inviting me here again. Just, still it's been very, very, very rough time, but everything's going well. Little Gabriel, they're going to start the whole bone marrow process, but I'll know more about that very shortly. But please keep Gabriel in your prayers. It's been going on, but things are going well. Haven't talked to my brother this weekend, and I'm going to talk to him. But today was my nephew, the oldest nephew, Justin, his 21st birthday, and he's serving the United States Coast Guard. He's in Kodiak, Alaska. So he's out there right now, and he'll be. It's not that late. It's about the night's about to come. But my brother told me. Again, this is cute. This is just one thing. It tells you a lot about how important things can be. Because again, basically, he said my son is 21 today, and he sent me this picture of his son. He's a kid. He's a child. Can't ever see it. Yeah. This is him holding a beer, and I said my son's 21, but his actual he sent me a picture of the actual birthday cake, and this is them. This is my brother, Justin, and his wife. Very nice family.
Yeah.
And then of course he had his birthday there. That's his 21-year-old. And I was there when he was born. I held him when he was born. So it's very profound. And that's a thing. And again, that tells me a lot where family's important. He's 21. It's like he was just this little kid, just like a little while ago, right? But and then now poor little Gabriel is having problems. Again, it is what it is. But keep him in his prayers. As soon as I know more information, I'll put it out there. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you all later.
Okay, you get some rest. Talk to you later. Bye bye. Okay, well, this is one of the last things that I've got.
Will you, before you do that, will you share what I've got? Because it's my way of saying goodbye to Ruben.
Okay. Let's see.
Next time. Get it. Next time.
Yeah, he does sound like him.
He does really good for that Dr. Claw. I gotta give it to Ruben. There's so many things where Ruben said something I'm like, bullshit. That's bullshit detector. You're wrong. And Ruben has been correct on things. He's done things right, and I'm proud of him.
Yeah, me too. I've been friends with him for many years, and he is slowly, progressively getting better and better and better at changing his situation, with his health and everything. Because remember, he couldn't even walk when I first met him. So, now he can get in and out. He's out of his wheelchair and he's walking and making meals and doing all kinds of things that I didn't know if he'd ever be able to do. So I'm really proud of him. But this is the last thing I'll play about this whole thing with the Muslims and stuff. But this was from, I think, a year or so ago, maybe a couple of years ago. But I thought it was pretty good when I came across my timeline.
I am holding in my hand the Muslim Brotherhood plan for the destruction of the United States, written 5/22/1991. This plan was presented as evidence in the Holy Land Foundation trial, the largest terrorism trial ever in the history of the United States, where our government handed down 108 guilty verdicts for Muslim Americans and Muslim American organizations raising money to support terrorist organizations in the Middle East to the tune of millions. And I'm just going to read you a paragraph of this plan, so it'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Understanding the role of the Muslim Brother in North America. The process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process with all the word means. The Ikhwan, which is the Arabic word for brothers, must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers so that it is eliminated and Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religions. Is this clear? But the most important page of this document is the last page, because in the last page, they list 29 front Islamic organizations set up in the United States with the specific goal of sabotaging America from within and destroying. I am holding in my hand the Muslim Brotherhood plan for the destruction of the United States, written 5/22/1991. This plan was presented as evidence in the Holy Land Foundation trial, the largest terrorism trial ever in the history of the United States, where our government handed down 108 guilty verdicts for Muslim Americans and Muslim American organizations raising money to support terrorist organizations in the Middle East to the tune of millions. And I'm just going to read you a paragraph of this plan.
Yeah, that's just repeating of what was already said. But basically, it's the same thing the other gentleman was talking about. And he was an FBI agent, okay, trying to make us realize what their plan is. They aren't going to just come here and just live and become Americans, okay, because they still believe the same.
You can't, if you're not going to assimilate, you got to get out of here. Sorry.
Yeah, I definitely believe that.
There's like fucking 70 shitty nations out there.
I'm not talking about the religion. See, if they could come here, because we have supposed to have freedom of religion, which means if you want to be a Wiccan or if you want to be a Christian or a Protestant.
So they use freedom of religion as a tool of the mob.
Yeah.
And literally they get a mass of idiot people that can't read, that don't have culture, that wear shitty outfits, that really don't understand what women's liberty is. Mm-hmm. And while I'm not for women's lib, I'd much rather have it than a bunch of garbage bags walking around wanting to blow me up because I love Western culture.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, just like I said, I have never sat down and went through all the paperwork and things that you have to become a citizen. Because I know they have to take history and some other things, and it takes a while, like a year, doesn't it, to or maybe two, to become an American citizen if you do it the right way, where you get your document that proves that you're American. Okay, not a green card. It's totally different. But is there anything in that tells you, that you have to follow the Constitution, things like that, which means other people around you have rights. And that's what not assimilating to our way of life is to the other people around you. You come here, you expect everyone to treat you the way you want to be treated from whatever country you came from. But then why'd you come? Just like that one little lady was talking about a few minutes ago. Why do you come here if you don't want to live here? See, I just don't understand that either. I would love to find out from some of these people, or if anyone knows anyone that is here. If they hate it so much, why did they leave and come here to turn it into the same thing they left? I mean, I don't know. I just don't understand it. And I wish I had answers for it, but I don't. I don't understand at all.
Well, I mean, we're only a few more steps away from becoming listed as an anti-Muslim or anti-LGBT active hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. And all we've got to do is just keep doing this podcast, this video series every Friday for a few more years. And I think we'll get it. I think we'll become famous because the SPLC will put our name out there like these people are bad people.
Yeah, they've
And-
already taken my channel down. I've been taken down 4 times for 2 weeks each time, and I can't post. I can't do anything. They
I mean, no offense. I love you, Janet, but
yeah,
you keep using StreamYards and YouTube, which are 2 very censor-heavy pieces of shit, and Rumble Studio for only $10 a month. For only $10 a month, you can use Rumble Studio, which has a great color grading. You can broadcast out to your Twitter and your YouTube, but you're giving Rumble your money instead of StreamYard. And because I'm probably not going to renew. I'm not going to renew on my fucking Restream. If Rumble Studio keeps getting better and better, I want to just use that.
Which it will. But the thing is, I'm going to keep using it because I've already paid for it.
I know you have.
So I paid for a whole year, and because it was cheaper to do it for a year than per month than it was to month by month. So I just went ahead and paid for it. So I didn't know that all this other stuff was going to happen, but with you and Bear and everyone else testing out all this stuff, I'll know exactly what I need when it's time. So I've already paid for it.
Before you commit to anything else, try Rumble Studio. You've already got a Rumble account. If you have Rumble Premium, it's free.
I will. I'll try it.
Rumble Premium is $10 a month.
But can you? Can I use it in Air to X from Rumble?
That's what I did.
Oh, it's exactly like.
Granted, it's not like trouble free because I only did the last Sunday when I did my expose on the new reveal for the information that Richard High was putting out there. It only broadcast 18 minutes on X, but for some odd reason it glitched. And my YouTube kept going and my Rumble kept going.
Yeah,
but it worked.
But that could have been X. It might not have nothing to do with.
I think it was X.
So I'm just saying, X has been having quite a few problems. Lots of bumpy roads.
I get a lot of bots, and I'd like to thank all of my followers who are trying to sell me crypto. Without you, nobody would look at my page.
Yeah, but I just want everyone to pay attention to what's going on around you in your towns, and be prepared for finding out you have a mosque opening down the road or whatever, because what they're doing, from what I've seen, just like what I showed you that what was it? That video with all the mosques
are they opening a mosque down the road from where you live?
Not that I've seen yet.
Okay.
But I'm saying
that's
will.
When you start like going over there with the shit spreader and you load it up from the ye old pig farm. And
what they're doing is they're going in because a lot of churches were hurt after COVID because they lost parishioners, and without people donating money, they can't keep the electricity on. They can't, pay their rent and insurance or whatever else to keep the church. So what's happening is you're having these Muslim groups come in and they're buying up all the churches and then open them back up as mosques. So they're just like what that FBI agent was saying, is that they go in and they just start taking over. And when you have enough of them in your town, they run for office and they go and vote.
We need somebody to support us.
You win.
Somebody who understands their struggle. Mein Kampf, I got you.
Yeah, I would rather be put to death than have to be married to a one of those men.
I'd rather you detonate their barracks with like a 50-pound bacon bomb.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't know how we could ever hurt bacon so bad to make it a bomb, but I'm pretty certain if I think about it for a while, I'll figure it out.
Because there was a movie that came out. We need to probably
Not Without My Daughter with
no, the one with Goldie Hawn where she's a military girl. And
Private Benjamin?
Yeah, the one where that guy from the other country wants to add her to his harem or something. The whole thing is they were trying to make it look like, it might be a fun life to be in a harem with a handsome prince, that kind of shit. trying to get young people to think that, hey, this is a good lifestyle for you. Not realizing that you can't drive, you can't go anywhere by yourself, because if something does happen, you have to have 5 witnesses, 5 male witnesses to testify for you that you weren't a slut.
You're only worth half of a testimony.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll stone you in the street or beat you with sticks or whatever they decide. But the reason a woman has to wear a hijab is because if a man sees your wrist or your ankle and he gets turned on, then it's your fault. So you deserve to be raped and beaten in the street because you're a slutty whore.
Wow.
But it's the men. The men is the reason why women have to wear hijabs, because a man can't keep his dick in his pants, apparently, because if he sees a woman's skin, it turns him on. It's pitiful and disgusting. Yeah. So I recommend everybody research Muslim, what it's like to be a Muslim woman. You have nothing. You have no worth. The only thing you're worth is bearing children. And if you're too old to bear children, then you'll just be passed around for entertainment and then beaten and stuff like that. Be a slave, basically. It's terrible. I would never, I wouldn't curse anyone, even Hillary Clinton. I wouldn't even put her in a hijab. That's how much I wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't do it. So, but that's my choice, and I have that right now because I'm a Christian. So it's totally opposite of belief of mine, because I believe in freedom for men and women. You know what I mean? To have the right to fall in love and marry who you want to, and not be told you have to get married when you're 9. And then as soon as you are a certain age, you have to start covering up because he might get turned on, and other people might get turned on, so that you deserve to be beaten in the street because you're a slut. Oh, it's terrible. I think it's horrible. And they also, the little button on a woman that, it's like the end of a man's penis, but it's for a woman. You know what I'm talking about? That part of the woman's body. They cut that off. They cut that off of all women because a woman, if that gets enjoyment out of it, will go out and do it with other people. Oh, it's disgusting, but just want to say that. So I don't wish that on any woman. I don't care who they are. And these women don't know any better because that's all they have. That's all they've ever had in their life. So, well, not all of them. Some of them, the older ones, when years and years ago, where women used to be able to go to college and get jobs and drive and do all those things until the new administration came in and decided that women don't deserve any of those things. So women's only good for one thing: stay home and have babies and wait on the men, clean up, that kind of stuff. It's really sad. So, but I'm finished. I shared everything that I had pulled up for tonight because I wanted to basically have the point of people coming here, assimilating, loving this country, and wanting to see a free place for all to live here, men and women of all races and of all religions, the way that our forefathers wanted it to be like when they fought for our freedom to be free of Europe or Great Britain or whatever, give us our own country. And it was tough. I mean, they went through a lot. But if you sit down and read the Declaration of Independence and the Federalist Papers and a few other documents, it's impressive that these were all young men. They weren't very old. Most of them were in their 20s, right? And a few of them in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's just mind-blowing to me, because I don't think I've had a discussion with anyone in their 20s that thinks about any of these things that these young people were thinking about way back then to come to another country and say, we have a chance now to make this ours and make it free for everyone. You know what I mean? Now, religion and a few other things, it took a while for women to be as free as men, to be able to own property, to be able to buy property because they weren't married, that type of thing. And to have the rights that women have today, it took a while to get that, but we have it now. And but our forefathers, the thoughts that they had about what they saw, to me was amazing. And the fact that we've lasted as long as we have and became a superpower in the world in such a short amount of time. And all of that to me was based on freedom. You know what I mean? The freedom of thought, being able to use your mind and not be held down because your thoughts were different than that person or that one over there. And people listening to each other and having think tanks and talking about how can we fix this, or how can we make this dam, or how can we put a lake over here, or how can we build this, or how can we do that together, all talking and asking each other questions is the reason why we are what we are today. So I want to see more of that. And I'm hoping that with all the steps that I see Trump taking, even though it's taking longer than a lot of people want, I'm thinking it's going to start opening that again. We're going to start having young minds that after watching that interview, did you watch the interview with Waters last week when they listened to the Doge answers of all the people and they were talking about what they found? Remember that?
I do remember that.
The young man that said he dropped out of Harvard just so he could do this job.
The better part was Maxine Waters asking about all the people that are at Doge invading the Treasury, and then she didn't understand that he had only hired people from the Treasury to work at Doge, and she was unable to comprehend that. Her wig got in the way, and it was fucking good comedy. I liked it.
The thing is, it's all right. But the thing is that I don't know. I just don't know what it's going to take to people to open their eyes and see what's unfolding in front of us. And that if we don't swim through the swamp, which it is, and get to the other side, start pulling out the people that need to be pulled out and let the others drown. You know what I'm saying? We're going to lose, that Trump has opened up the dam basically, and he's draining the swamp out. That's what he's doing. Yeah. But if our Congress doesn't do their jobs and the people in our states that we've put in office don't do the jobs for the towns and the cities and in our state overall, it was all for nothing. You know what I mean? I don't want to live here. If we get more of what we had with Obama and Biden, I don't want to be here for that. I don't want my children to grow up in this and to live in this on a daily basis.
The good news is they're not going to give us Wi-Fi in the death camps.
Well, no. The thing is, I've got to figure out a way that if something does like that happen, I got to figure out a way to have something so that they can't take me alive because I don't want to live that. I don't want to live that way. I can tell you that right now.
So
I'm a coward.
Did you see the video from last week where a young Minnesota mom was with her kid at the playground?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, you want to talk about that? Because
sure.
Some things have came forth. Not everything, but there's enough to talk about that. There's enough meat on this bone to start to chew it. Not really too happy with the way Minnesota handles Somalis. And the reason I say that is because the guy that filmed all this and was complaining that, she used the N-bomb, the dreaded N-bomb, which has killed people before. It's a fucking weapon of mass destruction. You ever have a problem, just yell the N-bomb and people will flee from you right away. You're a walking you're better to use the N-bomb than a flamethrower, than a flame
Yeah.
belter. And apparently this guy was having a fit because, you know, she was using hate speech, and she's like, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, hey, guess what? I bet she quacks like a duck too, right? And the guy had a real fit, but the mainstream media kind of ignored the fact that he was previously convicted on a rape charge of a 16-year-old girl that him and a roommate had spit roasted over the course of a couple nights and didn't really treat well. But now, you know, well, they dropped those charges because it was a Minnesota lawyer from Ilhan Omar's district that didn't want to have negative press paint a Somali. Don't ever let the Somalis ever be seen like, you know, committing crimes or in handcuffs or, you know, having to be accountable for their shitty actions, because they're pretty much not assimilating. That young girl video earlier where I showed you, you know, she assimilated from South America. She likes being American. She has a good accent. She likes America for what it is. Those people aren't like that. I feel sorry for you, Minnesota Patriots, because you guys have such shitty representation in cities. Janet's always bitching about Texas blue cities, but Texas blue cities are still offset by the massive purple and huge red swaths of land in Texas.
It's just about people. Okay. Just like in Arkansas, the whole state is red except Pine Bluff, West Memphis, and then you got and Little Rock, and North Little Rock mostly. So you got 3 big blue areas, but they're densely populated. See, that's a lot of votes. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You might have a big swath of land that's dark red, but you only have 1,000 people that live there.
That's understandable, but you know what? That's okay, because, you know, I mean, the rest of the state, go ahead. The rest of the state can fall blue, but they're not. You're not coming out here and dictating that my family, you know, change their behaviors and such. It'll be long after I'm dead when that has to start taking place. You know, this isn't South Africa. We've still got guns here. We still got the Second Amendment here. And even in, you know, shitty states like Minnesota or I'll say Wisconsin too, because like Wisconsin's mostly blue, not purple. You've got a lot of people that think they can tell the country folk exactly how to live. They're a bunch of country bumpkins. Minnesota and Illinois are really lucky. We got Wisconsin nearby, but Wisconsin has the most Medal of Honor recipients that are living. Like I'm like, look at the history of Wisconsin and military action. You don't fuck with those country areas. That's all I'm going to say. And a lot of people recognize that. You know, like they always talk a good game from Madison, Wisconsin, or from Milwaukee, but they won't deliver. They're scared shitless of the country people. They really are. And Illinois kind of feels the same way because there's more Illinois hunters than there are Illinois penitentiary members.
Yeah. But
and actually Emperor 1G says something very intelligent. The one thing that Muslims hate more than non-Muslims are other Muslims, because they're not Muslim enough. You're not the type of Muslim I am, which is why Muslims, if you ever look at the crime statistics nationwide and worldwide, the biggest demographic of worldwide offenders of capital crimes is always Muslims. But the biggest demographic of victims worldwide is Muslims too. And that's just a problem that's within their system. They haven't gone through a period of time where they've made their religion not stupid. They've not, you know, gotten rid of the shitty imams. They've not tried to elevate the people that are part of the religion by teaching them how to read. They haven't tried to fix their religion's problems. So it's just going to perpetuate. That's all it is. Oh, Emperor 1G, there's some things you've said before that are mostly intelligent, but like there's other things that, like, we just said that like 10 minutes ago, brother. Thank you for repeating what we said. Appreciate that. All capsus.
Yeah.
But that's been kind of like the theme of the night. Tonight we are, you know, the one thing that Janet has been capitalizing on is the theme of be American, like America, assimilate. And that's been kind of the theme this evening. The problems
Yeah,
America's got right
freedom.
now is a division in America.
Being free. Okay. Like during the evacuation of Saigon, right?
Yep.
Hundreds of thousands of people were brought to America. And guess what? They assimilated. You didn't see them all stay in one state like these Somalis are doing.
No.
You see what I mean? They're everywhere now. And they assimilated. They sent their kids to school. Just like if you were to sit and have a conversation with any of their children, their grandchildren, they'd sound just like us. They don't have an accent from where they came. They went to school. They got jobs. They're all doing different things. And they're real. You know, some of them aren't even the same religion that their family was when they left. Things like that. That's assimilation. That means you're fitting in. You're becoming an American citizen, and you're fighters for freedom, so that other people that come here can practice whatever religion they want. They can marry a man if they're a man, or be two women and get married. We don't care. We believe in freedom of religion and freedom from religion, if that makes any sense. Nothing is forced upon you except to follow the laws. You know, as long as you don't speed, because speeding could hurt another person in another car that isn't speeding, you know, things like that. And it's still better than any other country, you know. So if they would just come here like they say they want freedom, but they come here and they expect handouts. You expect us to pay your way. Why? You know, why would we want to do that? Why would someone else want to work just to hand you their check? They don't. So you come here and you can build wealth just like everyone else that's here on your own. Get a job, fall in love, have a family, you know, the same thing that any other person. It has nothing to do. American, you know, I don't know. The American freedom isn't about your skin color, or whether you're a man or a woman, about whether you're gay or a lesbian. It has nothing to do with that. It's about being free and letting the people around you be free too, and make decisions for themselves. See, I want to send my kid to a private school. Well, I want to send my kid to public school. You know, you have opportunity to do different things because you have the freedom to do that. You can stand on the corner and say, I hate you. I hate this and I hate that and blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. Fuck you. You can do that. And guess what? You don't get arrested. Well, it used to. You know, I've seen that some people have gotten arrested for saying something or posting something on Facebook. You know, it's ridiculous. That isn't what our forefathers founded this country to have happen. You're supposed to be able to stand on the corner and preach, as long as you're not in the middle of the road. But now we have people that can stand in the middle of the road. They can do prayer things 5 times a day and stop traffic and blare horns and everything and music and whatever, and impede on everyone else's freedoms. But you're not allowed to say no to them. That's not America. See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. They're not assimilating. They're forcing everyone else to assimilate to their point of view, instead of everyone just doing their own thing and assimilating into their society, period. And that's where I'm having a hard time with it, because I look around and I see so many people being forced against their will to do things that never would have happened, 100 years ago in our country. It's sad. It's sad to me to see that. So I'm hoping that that by the end of this 4 years, we'll have a totally different country than we had 4 years earlier under the administrations that we had before that. And it will have money again, because we've stopped the waste, and hopefully we'll have young people that say, I want freedom. Like when I watched all those young men talking about all the fraud and the waste that they've seen and found, and they're trying to repair things and fix things the way the systems are set up, like getting rid of Social Security cards for a person that's 200 and something years old, stuff like that. Common sense is coming back, and to see the young people excited about doing it. A young man quitting Harvard just so he could be on the Doge team because he was excited about it. They were excited about sleeping on the floor and eating from vending machines. They were all chomping at the bit to get back to work. It's inspiring to see that we have young people that want to do that for our country. The same thing as all the young men that signed up for World War I, to put that uniform on and go. And a lot of them died. They never came home to their families. They died for a thought of what American freedom was. And we're just handing it away like it's nothing. That guy over there, he's 82 years old. He worked his whole life sweating, and doing whatever at that job that he had, saving money. And now we're taking all his hard-earned retirement, and we're giving it to people that just walked over the border that never did a damn thing to earn it, when he did all the work. See, that's wrong. I don't want to take his money. I didn't do the hard work that he did. I just want to keep the money I have. I want to be able to take the money I have and put it where I believe it belongs in my life to make my future better. Just like I want you to be able to do the same thing. I don't believe someone should just walk over the border and we just hand them everything that they didn't earn. If they come here and they say, okay, I want to be a working person in this country, and I want to join your citizenship, I'll say, here's the papers, fill them out. You got to learn English. You got to go to school. You got to do this, that, and the other, whatever the rules are. And if he really wants to be here, then he'll do it. But if they don't, then we don't need them, because they're just they're a drag on our economy. We have enough people that grew up here privileged that don't want to do anything, that think that we owe them everything because their skin color is different, or because they wear a bra and they have a penis, that they deserve to be treated differently, better. We should put them up there because they're better than everyone else because they're a little different. See, I just think this sad. I don't want my children to grow up in that. I don't want my great-grandchildren to look back and say, wow, you guys really messed up our country. It's never going to be the same, because this is what it was when I read my history books, and then this is what it is now. Why did they want to go from that to this? That's common sense. But you read it and you can see it unfolding in front of you through the pages, and you're like, what the fuck happened to these people? Were they all smoking pot? You don't know. But that's how crazy it is. That's how stupid it's going to look when it's written down in the history books. They're going to say, wow, they really blew that. I mean, they went from the richest, smartest country in the world to down at the bottom of the barrel. We got kids graduating from high school that can't even read and write because we got lazy ass teachers that don't give a shit about the students.
Teachers don't give a shit. They're vested.
Yeah, they don't care. See, that's why every year teachers should be have to be tested again to make sure that they're up to par for the new stuff that's updated in the books or whatever for that grade or whatever it is, what they're going to teach, computers or math or history or any other, robotics, whatever it is that they're going to teach. A teacher should be able to teach students because they know more than the student knows. You know what I mean? And the only way to do that is to keep them updated. It's just like your phone. You look at it and say, I got to update again. Well, it's because it's trying to keep up with all the viruses that are coming out, all the new technology, that new apps. It's got to be put on your phone, things like that. It's a natural to update. If you got a person that sits and watches TV all day and they never get on a computer or use a cell phone or anything, they're not going to understand how to check their email. Look at me. I was going through all of this turmoil. I used to sit and I tried to do my first 3 or 4 live streams, and I was crying most of the whole live stream because I was like, how come I can't add a guest? I don't know how to add a guest. I shouldn't have went live. I should have waited until I figured out how to do it before I went live, but I learned the hard way. If it hadn't been for you coming up there and saying, okay, this is what you do, blah, 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 and help me, I wouldn't have learned how to do it. But I made a difference because I did try to do it.
Yeah.
You got people walking over the border that don't want to try shit. They don't want to do squat. They're all lazy pieces of shit that go like this and think we owe them something when someone else did all the work to earn that money. That's the person that should have got to keep the money, not give it to someone who did nothing.
I mean, if you want to give money to Carmelo Anthony's parents, or if you want to give money to Joan of Arc, that's okay. I'm not going to judge you too heavily, but I honestly feel that, we've got enough problems in America. You need to take care of yourself and your family and the ones you love. You need to not be frittering money away on things that are frivolous. And don't look at my fucking my recent purchases from Reaper Miniatures, okay? Because I bought more, but I bought more paint. I need more purple. I just, the thing is that we've got a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of balls being juggled right now.
Why do you think this backwards? No, I'm asking. The cigar DM said, you have that backwards, Janet. So I'm asking him what was backwards about it.
I honestly feel that we're about ready to start seeing some stuff happen because you got too many guys. And when some citizen journalist like James O'Keefe comes out there and he levels the field with a statement and a few videos, and now you're holding the bag. Well, Pam Bondi, I guess the cook timer is on now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You've been talking about, you got
and
all this
I
stuff
hope that
there,
whatever happened doesn't jeopardize some of the things that they had planned. I really don't.
I do too, but at the same time.
And if it wait a minute, what if it's Hillary Clinton and a couple of other very high profile people that end up getting off simply because of what just happened? Are you going to be mad about it then?
Okay. Now, are you trying to pull my leg?
No.
Say that
just saying.
If we have everything lined up properly, if the fat electrician pulls out a binder and he starts going after Hillary Clinton with all the ills and wrongs she's made, and he can prove to a jury there's evidence in there and there's gold in their hills, and all you got to do is take a pickaxe over there and they can find mountains of gold of evidence about Hillary Clinton. You're telling me that you think she's going to go to prison? As much as she might be guilty with the blood on her hands, which is fresh and unwashed off her skin, she's never going to see an orange jumpsuit. Never. She will never hold an orange jumpsuit on her body.
Look at this. Read this and tell me what you think it means.
Okay. I noticed that Pam Bondi was careful to mention videos of Epstein with children. She didn't say anything about his clients with children, just Epstein himself. Exactly. And the thing is that he knew that he wasn't big enough to stay out of the trouble, so he's going to say things like that. So I'm not saying 4D chess, but I did notice that he didn't say a single thing of like, oh, Bill Gates had a fucking 12-year-old spit roasted with the guy in the wheelchair for Jeffrey Pike. No, I didn't hear that. All I heard was Epstein with kids. And all this is going on is that it made me think that Epstein recognized he wasn't big enough to get out of the way of the rolling boulder. He could try to obfuscate, and he could still try to cover for his buddies or the people that made him the success he was at the time. But he knew at some point he was going to get squashed. But if he kept his mouth shut, he would.
I think that he gathered evidence and things on people that were gathering evidence up on him. See what I'm saying?
I do.
And that's why he was offed.
I think that a lot of it was the fact that he had a lot of people dead to rights, but he did not have a delivery system for whatever evidence he had to try to get out from the land of the guilty and hung to the land of the, well, we proved it that, we did find him guilty, but he helped lead us to these other 75 people, including Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin, which we already have a video of them spirit cooking somebody.
Yeah, But it's not just that. The whole frazzle drip video. Don't you remember when that came out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That has the evidence, all the evidence on it, I think, that you need to arrest both of them and a few others that were in there. Pedestrians in that.
That's the part that I'm stuttering over the hardest, because we already have frazzle drip. Why don't we just we got,
because you have to go to court and you have to present it in court, because in this country we have a constitution and you have to follow the letter of the law. That's what I'm trying to say. And if Hillary Clinton turns over state evidence against Bill Clinton or let's say 5 or 6 other people that are very high up in the military or in government, and says, here's all you need, and I want this signed. And she gets it signed, and then she goes, see ya. And she walks away with nothing happening to her. And she comes back and she testifies or whatever, or signs an affidavit, and she gave all that evidence, and she's going to walk away, and there's not shit any of you can do about it. That's why we have a constitution. That's why each state has their own constitution. We have laws. And how can I say you need to go to prison, but all the things that I did, oh, well, see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. I have to follow the letter of the law. If we expect everyone to be prosecuted, it's like we always say, no one's above the law. And if we mean that, that means no one's above the law. That means you have to follow the laws. And if she makes a deal and gives them whatever they need to sink all these other people faster, then they have to make a deal with her. That's what I'm trying to explain to people, that some of these people are going to walk. And we're going to have to be happy with that. We're going to hopefully get them later, just like what happened with, what was his name? O.J. Simpson. Okay. O.J. Simpson didn't go to prison for murdering his wife and her friend, stabbing them to death because their blood was on his socks in his bedroom and all kinds of stuff. And he cut his hand and everything using the knife because his hand slipped because it was covered with blood. All these things, and he left blood on the gate as he left. There was tons of evidence, but he got away with it. But guess what? A few years later, because of his arrogance and his bad attitude, he got arrested because he had to go and take his memorabilia that wasn't even his back from someone that was making some money in a hotel room, and that's why he went to prison. So he did get his coming uppins, but it wasn't for the thing that we wanted him to get. Like the girl, the Anthony, whatever her name was, Casey Anthony. There was tons of evidence to prove that she wrapped her daughter with duct tape and she suffocated, died in a hot car while her mom was out partying, having a good time, keeping her drugged up on Xanax. Okay. And then she took her little body, put it in a plastic bag and dumped it where she used to hang out as a kid, down the street from her mom and dad's. And she got a one jury member to believe that maybe her dad might've done it. So she got off. You can't try her for the same thing again, because that's the law of our country, even though I believe she's guilty as fuck. I despise this woman because I know she killed her daughter, but there's nothing I can do about it any more than I could have done with what happened with O.J. Simpson. So there's a lot of things that are going to happen that we don't agree with. But if we do truly believe in freedom and our Constitution and it's fair for all, we have to let the law fall out the way it is. And the luck of the draw of whoever the people are on the jury or however they do the court, we have to have faith in the justice system and let it work out the way it's supposed to. Whether we agree with the results, it's that's just the way it is. I just went to court this last summer. I wanted that guy to get 60 years or more for what he did to my niece, but I didn't get that. He pled out because he didn't want to risk, because he knew it. He knew he was going to get it. He knew that we had so much evidence against him that he was going to get 60 years at least. And so he pled out for 20. But now every 5 years, my niece has to go and beg for them not to let him out of prison. It's ridiculous. So the victim just keeps getting dragged into the mud over and over and over again because of a sick piece of shit. It's not fair, but that's the system we have. The only way to fix it is by making changes to the system, the way it's set up. And every so often when, people get off their ass and pass laws, things happen, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're worse. So, that's it. But it's that's the way it is. And it's still the best country in the world that I know of, with all our faults. Are you still there, Bruce? I don't hear him. I think he might have been, something must have happened because he didn't just disappear off the screen. So I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he had to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know. I put everybody to sleep. I bore everyone to death. I'm really sorry, you guys. So I didn't mean to do that, but it's us. It's on us, people. I think we're it. We are the wall now. It's up to you and I in fighting for our families and our communities, and helping Trump as president be successful. And I think we're all going to reap the rewards of it. Even the people who are fighting us tooth and nail against everything that Trump is doing, they're going to reap the reward too. And there's nothing we can do about that. That's something we have to just accept. But oh, you're back.
Yeah, I had to use the restroom.
I figured that. I was like, hey, Bruce. I thought I put you to sleep. I was like, well, I'm sorry. I must have bored him to sleep.
I put in private chat. Be right back. 5 minutes.
Well, but yeah, I think we did a pretty good for tonight, talking about what I was wanting to, about people coming to our country and either ruining it or wanting to fight and make it free and keep it free. But that's where we're at right now. And it's so far, I think Trump is doing everything he possibly can. We just got to get Congress to follow through and do their jobs.
The Congress is the part about it that's pissed me off most. At least the no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime.
Yeah, they haven't
that
done
right there will get everybody. That'll solidify everybody for the next 18 months.
Well, not just that.
Not even carrying through the fucking midterm.
People that are, for the first time, you got a lot of people. There was 77 million people voted for Trump. That's a lot, okay, out of 350 million that we have in the country. The thing is, a lot of those people never voted before. I really do believe that. And they took the dive into politics.
I disagree with that.
Well, let me finish mine, then you can say yours. Sure. And the thing is, they dove in and they expect something. They expect results. They want to see someone either prosecuted for some of the crimes and some of the crap that they've had to deal with for the last 8 years, right? Mm-hmm. And they want to see, like what they said, let's let them get their paycheck and get to keep the tips that they make. Little things like you just said. By them passing those things, then they believe that going to the polls and getting involved works and it pays off. So if we do nothing, is that going to inspire them to go back to the polls next time? Mm-hmm. They're not. They're not going to go back, especially all the people that never voted before, that finally got involved because they were sick of it and they were told, hey, please register to vote. Get them in office and help us win so we can save our country. Then we get them in there, and all the people that we voted to help Trump be successful, they're all just like, oh, well, it's not my problem. They don't give a shit. They're getting their paycheck. So we gotta help Trump help us by getting Congress to do their job so that those people will vote again. Although I'm going to vote again. I can't help it. I've been voting since I was 18. I've always been active in politics because that's what my parents did. You know, we all, whether we want to believe it or not, we all do what our parents, sooner or later, we turn into our parents. You know, we act like our parents, we vote like our parents mostly. And, you know, we live our lives the same way our parents did because that's how we were raised. So we'll have to wait and see. But go ahead and I'll let you do your side of what I was just talking about.
I just, you know, I honestly feel that we've screwed up so far because, yeah, we've got Trump and we've got the MAGA movement, but we don't have Congress doing the MAGA things we want them to. They're just doing the same fucking thing that they always do. I don't see the no taxes on tips. I don't see the other things that were supposed to be getting pushed through right away. I've got a bunch of problems with things that are happening here, like they're growing new departments and new offices in government. I thought we were going to be shrinking it. I do like the idea of Doge. I want to see it perpetuated, and I do like the idea of an efficient, nimble government. But I'm having a real problem with the lack of action on all these uniparty pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty okay with firing up Chippy. We can get rid of this. We can fix it. We can get rid of the treasonous bastards. Oh no, we have to wait for this. We have to do the proper procedures for that. We have to do it. Shut the fuck up. I'm fucking done wasting my fucking money on these fucking people. You know, and I would really hope that the rest of America looks at their pocketbook and is like, the inflation's still going on. Like I paid $2.78 a gallon for 87 earlier today.
Yeah.
And you know that's a lie because I wouldn't buy 87, so I paid $3.68 a gallon for the ethanol-free 90 octane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still a little upset that there's judges out there trying to stop all the anti-funding everybody else. I don't give a fuck about your USAID stuff. I don't like the military. I don't like the wasteful side of the government. I really don't like the waste that we've got going on, and it's been going on for years. $50,000 for a hammer. That was a statement.
Think about it. If we the people could in each state get a team up and say, okay, we're going to change the laws in each of our states to where when we pay taxes, we'll get a sheet of paper, okay, that it's a printout and say that we need roads, schools, and they put everything on there on the sheet that we needed to fix in our state, right? Or in their towns, however they want to separate it. You go in and you have to pay, let's say we have to pay 10% of our income for taxes. That's what the thing is. I'm just using this as an example. And you get to, as a taxpayer, go down the list and make a check mark to where you want your 10% to go to. How do you think that the people that we put in office would like that?
Pretty okay with it. I don't give a fuck about their feelings.
No, I know, but this is the question. I would put a check next to my veterans. I would put a check next to schools, and I would put a check next to infrastructure for, you know, the highways and the roads and things like that.
Just what I know already, as much as I love vets, because I am a vet, I'm quote unquote a disabled vet. I also know that there's a lot of waste in that. And there's a lot of problems.
What I'm trying to say is the people that voted for all this USAID stuff, right? That, you know, or that, what was it? It was, we made fun of it a couple of years back. The turtle tunnel in Florida that cost like $5 million or whatever. And they paid, you know, for, it was a federal road or something. And all of us had to
put a tunnel underneath it for habitats for turtles. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Remember that? Now, the thing is, if a special project like that was coming up and the people actually got to vote for it, how many of these special projects you think would get funded? Probably none, right? Unless we thought it was going to benefit us, we would vote for it. But you're going to have some people that are going to vote for it, whatever, just because, you know, that's what they believe. They just believe that whatever the government thinks is best for us, they're going to go for it. Okay. Most people, though, if it's their own money that you worked hard for, I saw, it was a video. I showed it to you. I know I showed it to you. I may have been way before we did this show, but there was a video and it was a mom and she had two daughters. And the one daughter had just gotten a job, her very first job, and she had gotten her paycheck, and her mom said, let me have it. She took the money that she had cashed, and she said, okay, I'm taking this money for this, I'm taking this money for that, taking this money for this, and we're going to put this much in savings, and I'm going to give it. And she had like $80 left. Okay. I mean, once she took all the money out for her room and board and stuff, but she was trying to show her what it's going to be like when she moves out. Right. So then she took $20 out of the 80 and she gave the $60 to her daughter, and she went in, opened the sister's door, and she said, here, this is for your sister. And she goes, why? Okay. And she said, well, that's the way it works. You have to give money to people who didn't work, didn't do anything, to keep them to where they can do things for themselves. And she goes, that's not fair. And she goes, bingo. She wanted her daughter to understand how they distribute money, even to the people who do nothing, that never, ever lift a finger to go to work. Just like the people who are walking over the border right now, we're handing over money that someone else did all the work to earn. See, and giving them a $500 a week hotel when we have veterans that can't even get an appointment to get into the doctor to get glasses, stuff like that. It's all fucked up. It needs to be restructured and fixed to where we prioritize who gets what. Okay. Now, I don't have a problem with a homeless. I mean, not a homeless, but an illegal coming over here and getting money. If they come over, fill out the paperwork, and they want to do a certain job and make money, then they should be able to do that. But it's the illegal part of coming in and not documenting anything is what makes them illegal. See, that's the thing. That's breaking the law. That's no different. You would get arrested if you went into Mexico and you didn't fill out the paperwork or show your papers or whatever. You would go to jail. So it's okay for Mexico and Africa and India and all these other countries to do it, but we're not allowed to defend ourselves from invasion. See, that's ridiculous and stupid. It doesn't make any sense. We have every right to defend our borders as any other country does. And I'm a firm believer in that. But I think it would be way different when it comes to taxes if the people could pick and choose where they thought their extra dollars should go when it comes to infrastructure and stuff to run our country. Okay, because I just don't think that all these dumbass ideas that these politicians seem to think that is more important than taking care of our own country would get any money if we voluntarily gave the money for those projects. I don't think they'd be able to fund them the way that they do. But I'm never going to find out because I don't see a single politician agreeing with me and wanting to pass something like that or even do a trial to see if how it works. They're not going to do it because that's their play money. That's their fun money. They're not going to take the money out of their own wallet and do it. They're going to take your money and spend it on whatever dumbass idea that they come up with because some guy says, hey, I'm a lobbyist and if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. So they just do it with your money, and that's bullshit. But I'm a firm believer in that. But I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight.
Janet, I got something. Throw it in. Open up your messages on Twitter.
Oh, on Twitter? Okay, hold on. I got to go over there.
And the one I just sent you with Nancy Mace, go ahead and play that from the start.
Okay, let me get it.
It's another thing that
it's not on Shit Show. It's on my DM.
I believe it's in your DMs.
Okay.
Yep, your DMs.
All right, let me open it. Oh, share to post. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, that was in the Shit Show chat. But let me share it. Hold on, I gotta.
No.
Yeah, this is good. Okay, I'm gonna make it big. Here we go. Ready? Oh, make sure it's turned up. Yep. Okay.
This guy is a convicted pedophile. Had
over
1,000 photos and videos of kids, toddlers as young as 3. There were animals raping the kids in some of the videos and photos, and also adults. This guy had 6 indictments signed off by South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson in a plea deal that took 15. Guess what? Of the 6 indictments, 5 were dropped. How many does that leave us with? That leaves us with 1 indictment. Alan Wilson signed off on a deal where he was convicted of 1 indictment, 3rd degree. Remember, over 1,000 photos and videos of toddlers as young as 3, including animals. It's disgusting. They did the deal in 15 minutes. You want to guess how much time this pedophile served?
1 day.
He served 1 day in jail. It was, quote, time served. 1 day for all this. You know what that makes Alan Wilson, South Carolina's Attorney General? You know what that makes him? He protects pedophiles. He's a pedophile protector. This is disgusting. He shouldn't even be dog catcher, let alone Attorney General for South Carolina.
100%. Yeah, I'm gonna copy that because I want to share that with a few people. Because this is one of the videos that I couldn't find when I went to look
This
for
guy
him.
is convicted pedophile.
So yeah, thanks a lot for that. I forgot all about it.
No problem. I figured you'd want that.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier or yesterday, I guess, with you. I think that it's disgusting. And like I said earlier tonight, I said that there's stuff like that out there that people are not going to want to believe people are doing. But it's not just that guy that let him off on that 1 count. It's the fact that there's a guy that's willing to pay money to see kids have sex with animals, little kids. This is a grown-ass man, a sick, perverted freak, that if it was your kid, what would you do? You know, what would you do if you walked in and you caught this guy with your kid and an animal and he's videotaping it? See what I'm saying? You'd want justice. You'd want something done. You'd want something done right then, and you probably would end up in prison because of it if it was your kid. But because that guy that let that guy up, it's not his kid. It's not his problem. That's his attitude toward it. And the fact that any of us accept that makes us just as almost as bad as just saying, oh, well, turn around, walking off. When that whole thing happened with that college guy, that college Sandusky or whatever his name was. What was
I
his
remember
name?
that. Yeah.
He was like a huge college. Yeah, he was a huge college coach or something. And I was watching some of the testimony, and this one guy was up there, and I just started bawling my eyes out. I couldn't believe that someone hadn't killed this kid or this guy that testified. I wanted to kill him with my bare hands. I really did. He's testifying that he went down the stairs because the wife said, oh, he's downstairs. Okay. And he's walking down the stairs and he hears muffled screaming. And he keeps going, and he ends up walking into the back bedroom. It's like a bathroom and stuff like that all down there in this basement, and where the screaming was coming from. And he walks in, and it's that guy raping a kid in the shower. And the prosecuting attorney said, well, what did you do when you saw that? And he said, I shut the door. I just wanted to fucking kill that man. Because a person that does nothing when they're seeing someone do those things to children needs to be taken out too. They're no better. I mean, he didn't actually perform the act, but he didn't do anything to stop it. See, I would die. Someone would kill me, because if I was walking through a parking lot or in a business or anything and I saw something like that, or I heard a kid screaming and I went running and that's what they were doing, I'd fucking try to kill that person, and they'd probably kill me. I'd probably die. But guess what? I'd be in heaven, because I'm telling you, doing something like that, sacrificing your life for another one, especially a child that's defenseless and crying out for help, and they do nothing. Oh, it's just repulsive. That person shouldn't be able to walk amongst us. The person who did nothing is as guilty as letting that little boy get raped as the guy that was screwing him in the shower. It's disgusting. And we got people like that all over the place. Our country is the #1 country in the world for trafficking and raping and doing shit like this to kids. #1. We're the biggest user and abuser of children, because guess what? You can use a kid over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You can only snort drugs once. That's why they make so much money off of it. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I would go to prison for a kid. I really would. I would sacrifice myself, because to me it'd be worth it. I'd sit in prison every day and I would think I have a huge smile on my face thinking about what I just did for that kid. And I'd sleep at night knowing I did what I had to do to protect a child, because no one else would, because there's too many cowards. We got so many fucking cowards in office right now. Judges, lawyers, congressmen, state representatives, all of them. They're all cowards because they're doing nothing. It makes me sick. And they have kids. How do you get up and hold your baby in your arms when it's got colic, feed it, change its diaper, knowing that there's another man out there that would take your kid and kill it by having sex with it so long that it just falls apart in his hands? And I've talked about that on that one show, the first live stream I did. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Those 4 brothels, and they're 10 and under in there, and 6-year-olds begging you to kill them because they don't want to live this way anymore. But yet they still have to endure another day of life for some fucking psychos to come and rape them all day the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, because people, sick bastards, are willing to pay money to do that to children. And I just think it's repulsive. And I wish that I pray to God all the time, please God, you can do it. Just strike them with lightning. They'll think it was a freak of nature, but get rid of these people. Why are they allowed to walk amongst us and do this to our children? Maybe it's because God's punishing us, the adults that are just letting it happen. I don't know. I'm not God, but I wish I understood it. It's terrible, but I want those people to pay. I want every person that purchases a kid or abuses a kid, just like Trump said, the death penalty. That's what I believe. I think that's too good for them too, honestly, because they'll be crying, oh, it hurts when you're putting me to sleep, instead of what that kid went through. You know, it's sick. It just makes me sick to my stomach thinking about it. But it happens all the time. Brandy and a bunch of my friends that I've met through talking about things like this and researching things like this, that's what they do. They try to fight and help these kids, save them from trafficking. But people do this to their own nieces and nephews too. It's not just traffickers. People do this to their own children. It's sick. But until we start cracking down and getting rid of these people, putting them in prison or prosecuting these people, they're just going to keep doing it. So I'm willing to give my life up to save kids. You know, I'm willing to risk my life to do whatever I have to. And I have done it. I've had people block me. I've had people, I've been doxxed because of it. A few other little things like that. And it's pathetic and sick, but that's how sick these people are. And I'm glad I don't understand them, because then I feel sorry for the police officers, stuff like what she was talking about. When Pam Bondi was talking about some of the people were watching some of the videos and stuff like that, and they were just throwing up and crying, grown men falling to their knees and crying and having to leave the room. I'm telling you guys don't have no idea. If you ever see one of these things, it took me 4 days to watch that one documentary, and it didn't hardly have nothing in it. Just imagining, in my mind, seeing a small child go through something like that, it's heart-wrenching. But I feel sorry for all those men. I pray for all of them, the ones that have to do that for a living, to be in the FBI or a police officer or a detective or a paramedic. The one that has to go when they call 911 because the kid's basically falling apart, from the brutalization of what happens to them. Or the little girl that they go and get, or the little boy that's been penetrated and their eyes have almost popped out of their heads and stuff like that. It's horrible. People just have no idea because they haven't seen it. But just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not happening. And I have seen some stuff, and I'm telling you, it's got wrenching shit. It's horrible stuff. And the fact that those people that do that not the one who sells the kid. It's the one who wants to purchase the kid for that action. They should all be put out to pasture if you get my drift, and get rid of them, because they can never be. You can't fix someone like that. There's no way to fix them. They're no different than the Green River Killer or BTK or Ted Bundy or any of them. They're that far off. They're too far gone. You can't repair them. You can never put them back in society because they're never going to stop. They're always going to do that. They're walking down the street and you're at the park, okay, with your kids, your little ones that are wearing diapers, okay, and you're at the park and that older one is playing and stuff. They're looking at you and your two kids with the thoughts of what they want to do. As soon as you turn your head, they're going to take one of them, and that's what they're going to do to it. Your child, if they can get their hands on it. Like what happened in the park. I can't remember what her name is. It was in Alma, Arkansas. And they passed a law here in Arkansas for her name, but I can't remember it for nothing right this second. I'm really sorry about that, but I'm really tired. But I don't think they ever caught the guy either that took her at a swim meet. She was playing in the little playground that's on the other side, and the parents are all running a swim meet. And there were parents there, but someone just wasn't watching at that one moment, and they just took her. They never saw her again until, like the little boy, what was his name? The guy became famous doing a TV show about, exploited kids.
I know what you're talking about.
Welsh or something like that.
Yeah.
And all they found was the little boy's head. That's it. They cut the head off. And some guy supposedly confessed to it, the one that was on death row for other murders of children. So, I don't know. Yeah, John Walsh, that was his name. It's just been going on since, I guess, basically since Cain and Abel, with murder and stuff like that. But they were brothers. They weren't, getting molesting each other or whatever. But that kind of this deviant crime has been going on since, we've had evil in the world. But we can do something about it, Yeah. We're not going to stop evil. I mean, you're always going to. But what's really sad to me that just tears me up is the fact that I see more people out protesting and stuff to not hurt dogs and cats and don't let them starve and stuff than I do for kids.
I mean, it's an easy thing for people to say nice things like, "Hey, go treat dogs and cats nicer. Go to the dog pound and drop off a 50-pound bag of Alpo. It's for the puppies," But if you say something like, "Hey, we probably want to keep an eye on this new pope because there's some evidence already surfacing on Twitter about how he's helped take cheese pizza people, and he's kind of relocated them to other places where they could do more cheese pizza ordering." And this pope isn't that great of a pope. He's not the black pope that we all wanted, But I don't want to say that. I don't want you guys to think that I'm racist against white people. But I wanted the black pope. I really did. He was a much better choice. This guy here is just fucking Pope Francis Part 2.
Yeah, I don't really know that much because I'm not Catholic.
He's from fucking Chicago. How good can he be?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure there's good people in Chicago.
I'm sure there's not.
Person
it's like there's great people in hell.
Bad. You know what I mean?
I'm a complete dick, and I don't give a fuck. And no, Emperor, neither of us are Catholic. I got way too many Orthodox friends that gave up on majority Roman Catholic bullshit because of guys like Pope Francis and all the fucking kid diddling and shit. So it's not really my concern.
I didn't say anything about him. I didn't judge him because I don't know anything enough. I don't even know basically anything about this man. So, but the church chose him. Isn't it the other cardinals that pick a pope?
Yeah, he installed like 70 cardinals to help get his person.
Yes, that's the way that they do it in their church. So there's not much I can say about it. That's the way they do it.
You know, I mean, if people are going to say, well, you don't get a say about it, well, actually, yeah, I do. And let me just say that if you protect priests from, you know, consequences of raping kids, you know, like, you're a piece of shit and your religion is really not that great because your structure is to fucking insulate you and not protect the kids. It's the same thing with the fucking Buffalo public school system. So
I remember all the stink that I got when I was asking people back when Obama was decided to put his hat in the ring, you know, against Hillary. And a couple of my people that I knew that were Catholic that lived in Illinois, and they were going on and about how wonderful Obama was. He was a wonderful senator, blah, 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 blah. And I asked him, I said, well, aren't you Catholic? And they said, yeah. And I said, and you don't care the fact that he voted yes for 13-year-old girls to be able to get an abortion without even telling their parents about it? And they went, that didn't happen. I said, yes, it did. Go look it up. And they were shocked when they found out. The thing is that that's what's sad. It's the uninformed people making decisions for other people's children. You know, they didn't even take 5 minutes to research something to find out something before they, you know, said, oh, he's wonderful. I love him. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. Just like I said, I'm not going to make a comment on this Pope. I don't know him. I haven't read anything. I don't know anything about it. I don't even really know the whole process of picking a Pope. All I know is they've been doing it since I've been alive. I don't know how they've done it all these years, but I'm not Catholic, you know? So I was raised almost my whole life non-denominational because that's what was on the Air Force bases that I moved to. They didn't push anything. It was just we went to church, read the Bible, we sang hymns, and then we went home. That was it.
Two of the three dudes I listen to throughout the week or chat with about tabletop RPGs are hardcore orthodoxy type guys, like Eastern Orthodox. And whenever I have a question about ancient Catholic history, by going to them, I'm able to get a direction where I need to go to find my answers, because they usually don't give it to me outright. They just like, here's where you need to look. Here's the scriptures that might be involved. Good luck. And that's James and that's John, the two guys being DM James and the basic expert. They're two real good grognards in the tabletop game world. And they're both real fucking like Orthodox type guys. And they don't go to the same church. They live hundreds of miles apart from each other. One's in Florida, the other's in Oregon, you know, Eastern Oregon, not Western Oregon, where all the shitheads are. And I listen to those two guys about Orthodoxy and why they chose it. And it actually sounds like, you know, I mean, I could understand why somebody that was raised in that environment would not want to get out of it, unlike somebody who was, like, say, a Muslim. They come to America and they learn about bacon and beer and like bikinis and broadband internet. They're like, why do I need Muslims again? Why do I need to be Islamic for? You know, I mean, because religion is at the very worst a system of control, and it just is a shame that Islam hasn't gone through its reformation like Christianity did. And while some get upset about Catholicism, you know, it is something from an older tradition, and I'm not really against or for Catholicism. I'm more for the people of Catholicism because those are the ones I have to interact with. And I just don't see the current leadership being good for them.
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
Do you want me to show you the paperwork I've seen already, or no?
What paperwork? Oh, about this new person they just chose?
About this new piece of shit from Chicago.
Yeah, sure. I've heard good things and bad things from people, but you know, I'll share it and show it if you want to talk about it.
I just perused it on Twitter. So
Jennifer, one of my sisters, now she had to take a bunch of classes and stuff to convert to become a Catholic so she could marry when she got married. So I went to church with her one time, and I held her son in my lap for a little while, and they got up and they got down. They got up and they got down, and I didn't. I just sat there because they were bending down on one knee and they were doing all this different stuff. And I was like, well, I don't believe in all this stuff, so I'm just not going to do it. So I just sat there. Nobody got mad at me. Nobody pointed fingers at me, and everyone was very nice to me because they knew I wasn't a Catholic. So, but I wasn't going to be disrespectful to them and try to do rituals and stuff like that and make myself look like a fool. So I just was respectful and sat and didn't say anything. That's all I did was sit there. So, and I would want them to do the same thing for my respect for my religion, just like I would anyone else. The thing is that it seems like everyone is like, it's my way, the highway, I mean, I would do the same if it was a person that was a Wiccan, if they were doing something, they had a little thing set up at the park and they were doing something, I wouldn't just go over there and knock other stuff down. I would just walk around them and let them do what they're doing, because it's not between me and their God, it's between them. It's their choice. And I do believe that we each have, it's our choice, between us and God. And even though they're doing something I don't agree with, it doesn't mean that I have the right to go in and tell them they can't do it. Now, if they were hurting someone, that's different. But if it's something they're doing for their beliefs, I'm not going to interfere with that, because I wouldn't want them to interfere with me when I'm doing what I believe. So I wouldn't do it to someone else. I wouldn't push my opinion on them. Now, if they weren't doing that and we were having a conversation and talking to them about it, I would ask questions then and say, what made you become a Wiccan, and what, that kind of stuff, and see what happens. Maybe I would be able to get them to maybe want to join me one day and come to my church and see what they thought of it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But the thing is that listening to other people and learning about other things and figuring out why they do certain things isn't that how we make relationships in the world? You know what I mean? How you find out new things about someone is by talking to them, and by just walking around pointing the finger at everybody, you're not making very many friends. You know what I mean?
I'm getting a little frustrated with, okay, I just had these papers. There's like 4 papers on here on Twitter.
Yeah, I see. That's what I went through today when I was
I'm like, where the fuck did they go?
I was trying to open all these tabs and have them all ready, and then make notes to the side so I could bring them up.
No,
and then
they're hiding.
Find them. So
it's like I turned the lights on, the cockroaches went behind the panels. Can't see us, you motherfuckers. All right. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, you'll see it in the next couple days. You'll see Twitter explode with what they found, and
I'm
people
sure.
pointing out they're going to be primarily MAGA people, because this guy's made a lot of anti-MAGA, a lot of anti-Trump statements so far. He's from Chicago. He looks like he's the type of guy that he pats a kid on the head after he gives him a Snickers bar, that sort of thing. The altar boys, he treats all the altar boys the same once they get the program down. He's disgusting. I'm sorry. There's certain behaviors that just fucking piss me off, and everything about Illinois seems to pop up whenever I mention shit from Chicago.
Well, I've been to Illinois. I've driven through Chicago and other areas, but I have no relatives in Illinois, so I never was experienced in anything that comes from Illinois. It's like I couldn't say. I just believe what I hear you and Connell and a few others talk about, because you guys actually live there. So, why wouldn't I believe what you're saying about it?
It's hard to get a good job because good jobs don't go there. They leave as soon as they can.
Yeah.
They go there for political reasons. They leave as soon as it's expedient to get out.
That's sad, because that movie Chicago I thought was so good. I just love that movie, from back in the 1920s or whatever. I know it wasn't real, but just the thought of how wonderful it must have been back then, or with music and other things that were going on, during the Roaring 20s. But I'm sure it was really dangerous and not as exciting as what a movie makes it look like. but I'm really tired. Well, I don't even know what time is. What time is it?
It's time for you to go to bed.
It's 12:30 at night. Holy shit. We've been over 3 hours we've been going. So that's good. That's a really good. But I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat for hanging out. I hope we didn't bore you too much or irritate you too much. But I appreciate everyone that showed up to listen to what we had to say about whatever dumb stuff that we thought about, that I dug out, the archives or whatever. And I appreciate you, Bruce, for hanging out with me. And I appreciate Ruben. You know, Ruben's such a sweetie.
I'm happy that he's getting well. I'll just say that. I mean, he's got a hell of a process.
Hard. Yeah, he's lost hundreds of pounds by his diet and stuff because the doctors, you know, they pretty much had written him off. You know what I mean? So, you know, these last 3 years that I've been friends with him, you know, he's done really, really well, and I'm really proud of him. So he's a good person. So, okay, well, I guess I'll say bye to everybody, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.